Pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Grand Prairie Cricket Stadium, Grand Prairie, Texas. Continuation of the 2025 minor league cricket season right here at one of the most fabulous cricket stadiums, not just in the country, but in my mind. I'm a little bit biased in the world. This matchup in the Central Division featuring the Lone Star Athletics and Kings 11 Dallas. Lone Star Athletics, Kings 11 Dallas, Lone Star winning the toss and choosing to have a bowl under really pleasant skies. So Kings 11 Dallas will be batting first. There's your lineup. Rehman Dar, Unmuk Chand are the openers. Obas Pinar, Sahib Malhotra, Ali Sheikh, Adam Khan, Sanchit Sandhu, Surya Savakumar, Dilshan Munawira. I'll say more about him in a minute. Amshad De Silva and Rishabh Shimpi. Dilshan Munawira is in because the captain, Corey Anderson, is out with injury, so Unmuk Chand stands in as both wicketkeeper and captain. So the bowlers for the Lone Star Athletics, you're looking at Aaron Nadkarni and Imran Khan Jr. probably opening the bowling. The rest of the lineup, Chaitanya Bishnoi, Shrusant Madani, Nitish Kumar, Kashyap Padrapati, Rit Hinge, Cameron Sheikh, then Jay Desai, Siddesh Patari, the captain, and Hamza Khalid, who comes into the team for the first time this weekend. So we're looking for, I think, a pretty exciting match. Kings 11 Dallas are a power-packed side. And even with the loss of Corey Anderson, who is obviously a former New Zealand international and recently played for the U.S. in recent years, including the World Cup last year, he is out. But you still have tremendous firepower. Rehman Dar is actually the leading batter in the side. At the top of the lineup, he sets the table, left-handed batter. Leading batter has scored 121 runs in the entirety of the season so far. Of course, it's a short season. High score of 61, strike rate of 118. So he strikes it at more than a run a ball, average of 40.33. And interestingly, the second leading batter on the side is Rehman Dar's opening partner, captain and wicketkeeper batter Unmuk Chand. You know a lot about Unmuk Chand just from having been a tremendous professional cricketer for the entirety of his career, former India U19 World Cup winning captain, and these days making his living right here in the Dallas, Texas area. Second leading batter in the side, as I said, scored 65 runs yesterday. In fact, that 61 from Rehman Dar was also yesterday. So you expect them to set the table at the top of the lineup, and they truly are an imposing side. They set the table with these two, Rehman Dar, Unmuk Chand, and then Obas Pinar, Saeed Malhotra, Ali Sheikh, and company will come in later. I would think, based on the conditions, very sunny, a little bit steamy, maybe more humid than it was yesterday, but if you live in Texas, you can take this all day. I'd estimate the air temperature to be around 82, 83 degrees, and under these conditions, I don't think it makes a big difference whether you bat or bowl first. So I'd expect that Rehman Dar will hit the ground running, and he'll have to contend here with the opening fast bowler Imran Khan Jr. coming from the northern end of the ground. Umpire Vishnu Pillai is in your picture. He's ready to go, making sure that the scorers are all ready. And we will get cricket underway here shortly. This again is the Central Division matchup featuring the Lone Star Athletics as well as the Kings 11 Dallas. Here we go. First ball underway. You expect to see Imran Khan Jr. bowl a fuller length, at least up front. He is a genuine swing bowler, so as a left armer, he swings the ball away from Rehman Dar as the left-handed batter. And when Unmuk Chand comes on strike, he'll be swinging it into him. So look for first thing you want to look for, set at first slip, top right of your screen, that is Nitish Kumar. And he would certainly be one who would be in the picture potentially if the ball is leaving the left-handed Rehman Dar. So you certainly want to be aggressive up front. I think you take wickets up front and you restrict the Kings 11 Dallas, at least put them on the back foot. If you don't take wickets up front, the new ball gets a little bit older, doesn't move as much, then those are the conditions under which you can find a really big score. Worked into the leg side here. Wait to see what the decision is from umpire Vishnu Pillai. In fact, it was off the bat. So the first run on the way. Third delivery of the day, producing the first run. So you often run in here in this matchup. Maybe after the over, we'll take a look at the standings and see exactly who is where. I would imagine that under the circumstances that you've gotten a fast start here from this pair. You got that fast start yesterday. They put on a huge opening partnership and ended up scoring some 203 runs, if memory serves correctly. And so in order for you to prevent them from doing that, you're going to have to essentially, I think, take wickets up front. Unmuk Chand, solid in defense. That ball is swinging into him. Interestingly, you still have the first slip for the right-hander, even though Imran Khan Jr. is an in-swing bowler. The ball is swinging in to the right-handed Unmuk Chand. You wouldn't necessarily expect for it to find the outside edge, but you still have a relatively aggressive field here with, again, the man standing to the right of your screen, sorry, the left of your screen, former Canadian and U.S. international Nitish Kumar. Played away, full toss, looking for the swing, but not quite getting the length right. Ends up being a really wide full toss, and it's put away for 4. Unmuk Chand with a gift, accepting that gift from Imran Khan Jr. You want that ball to swing, so you want to bowl a fuller length, but that time it was just a full toss outside the line of off stump, presenting no problems whatsoever for a batter of Unmuk Chand's capabilities. So the first boundary of the day, I think you'll see here that there will be a correction because you certainly don't want to essentially bowl any free deliveries in that way. Free in the sense that it's not threatening the stumps and it's wide and there's nobody in the deep at this stage of the innings out on the boundary. That's a better length, just defended into the short mid-wicket area. So a relatively sedate start, 1 boundary, and then 5 runs total from that first over. Over 1 is finished, 5 without loss. So a quick look maybe at the points table. The Dallas Exforia Giants are at the top of the lineup, or top of the heap here in the Central Division. 2 wins and 1 loss. They've played 6, or should have played 6 matches. 3 have been lost to weather. So just 3 results. They've won 2 and lost 1. Kings 11 Dallas at the top of the lineup as well. Both of these teams with, in fact, 6 points for Kings 11 Dallas and 7 points for the Exforia Giants. So the Exforia Giants are clearly the top team. Kings 11 Dallas is a threatening side, and I would expect that they would be at or near the top of the standings by the time the season is finished. But all in all, you still have to play. Number 6 team in this division is the Lone Star Athletics, so 2 wins and 2 losses. And so I'll give it to you this way. Dallas Exforia Giants are the number 1 team with 7 points. St. Louis Americans are the number 8 team with 4 points. You get 2 wins or 3 points for every win. So there is very little separating the teams at this stage in the innings, or at stage in the season rather. Oh, this ball has eyes. Somehow that got through between mid-on and mid-off, punched down the ground for 4. Did not think that that would have made it to the boundary. The first delivery bowled here in over number 2 by Aaron Nadkarni. But somehow it eluded the dive of mid-on, and then mid-off just had to escort it all the way to the boundary. Look at this again. High front arm, playing down the ground, a diving attempt by mid-off, not able to get to it, and then mid-on only able to escort it down the ground to the boundary. So the second 4 is struck for the day. 1 each by each of these opening batters, the lefty and the righty. That was a good delivery by Aaron Nadkarni. And really, it was a defensive push by Raymond Dar, but he just timed it so well that it went all the way down the ground to the boundary. If you've never seen, by the way, this outfield here at Grand Prairie, it is like walking across a carpet. It is absolutely pristine. There you get full value for your shots as a batter. Look at this again. That is just a punch straight down the ground. Boundary in that direction is 69 yards. The ball never once lost any pace all the way to the boundary. Very full. Aaron Carney looking for the Yorker. And now umpire Karthik Nachimutu having a chat. Not quite sure exactly what the issue is there, but Aaron Carney bowled yesterday. I think he is a much better bowler than he showed yesterday, and certainly coming in, he is the leading bowler in the side. Or as of right now, 8 wickets on the season so far. Economy rate of 8.89. That's a little bit high for him. Average of 20 is a good one, and he'll want to continue to have that average be around 8 or around 20. I think he'll want to bring down the economy rate some. But all in all, a good young fast bowler. Still a young man. I would estimate Aaron Carney's age at around 19. Lovely shot, but straight to mid-off. Ooh, taking a shot at the stumps. Wanting to make sure that the batters know that they can't go stumbling out of the crease. And that's one of the ways that you as a fielding side can keep the batters honest. Want to make sure that they know that you're able to hit the stumps from that angle. And even if you don't actually hit, they just know that they won't be able to just wander down the crease in that way. So 3 deliveries into over number 2. 3, make that 4 runs on the board. The very first ball struck down the ground for a boundary. You're in the power play overs. Power play meaning the first 6 overs of the innings. Just 2 allowed outside the circle in his first 6. Down the leg side, that's going to be a wide. That's a good take by Jay Desai. But Aaron Carney will have to re-bowl that. So as I was saying, the power play, first 6 overs, first 36 legal deliveries. And during those power play overs, you can have a maximum of 2 fielders outside the circle. With a big fast ball in operation, not surprising that the 2 fielders outside the circle are down at at deep third and backward square leg. And just as I say that, Remandar looks over his right shoulder to that fielder at backward square leg. No single there. Now, something to pay attention to. We are playing here, as we have all weekend, on pitch number 3, the 3rd westernmost pitch on the square. And so the boundary to the leg side of the left-hander, square of the boundary, or square of him on the leg side, is a shorter boundary. It is going to be 63 yards. The boundary to the offside for the left-hander, in other words, as you look at your screen right now, to the right of the screen, that boundary is 82 yards. So it's a much bigger hit on the offside for the left-hander. More to the point, it's a much smaller hit for the left-hander on his leg side, which of course would be his power side. So the story there for Aaron Carney is to not get the ball too straight. And you don't want to bowl anything at Remandar's body, because it would not take much for him to clear a 62-yard boundary. Clearing an 82-yard boundary obviously is a little bit more difficult. Last ball here, over number 2. Ooh, appeal. Not out. Look out. Run out opportunity. So he saved a couple of times here, Remandar. First, appeal denied for leg before. And then secondly, went running down the track, and on his follow-through, Aaron Carney with a shot at the stumps, but he was not able to hit. So think of it as him surviving twice. Let's take a look at this replay. Oh, this is very, very close. I think what umpire Karthik Nachimutu would have had to have considered here is whether or not that ball pitched on the line of leg stump. You could probably make an argument that it was either just pitching on or maybe just close to pitching on. But obviously looking at it in real time, that's a decision that umpire Karthik Nachimutu would have had to have made. And I think ultimately that's close enough that I don't know that I'd have a problem with him giving that one not out. But the bowler will feel that he should have had the wicket here. As you get to over number 3, Imran Khan Jr. is into his 2nd over. So you've had a string of dot balls here. First, you've had the last 5 balls of the second over. I want to take a look at that replay again when we get the chance, because this was a very, very close call. Look at this. Oh, this graphic here will tell us. Oh, that cannot be any closer. Going back to live action, that's clipped through mid-wicket for 4, but let's look at that replay again. Boy, if this ball pitches another inch to the right of your screen, it is probably LBW. This is pitching, half of the ball is on leg stump, the other half is outside of leg stump. So we'll look at the boundary here in just a second. Very full, and Unmuk Chand has no problem clipping that away for 4. But maybe we'll get back to that LBW shout again in just a second. But again, it does not get much closer than that, because good that we have that graphic that can show. Take a look at this again. Look where the ball pitches. By definition, if the ball pitches outside the line of leg stump, it cannot be given LBW. There. That cannot be any closer. And also you can make the argument that it might have just been swinging down. So I think ultimately a very good decision by umpire Karthik Nachimutu. A lot of doubt there, but very frankly, had that been given out, I don't know that the batter would have had much complaints either. Anyway, really interesting start here. The bowlers, I think, are operating well, even though you've had a couple of loose deliveries that have been put away for 4. For the most part, they've done what they needed to do to keep this batting pair quiet at the top of the lineup. Unmuk Chand, that's a good piece of cricket there. Direct hit at the striker's end, but Chaitanya Bishnoi not able to disturb the stumps before Remandar gets there. So that is a single. Look at this now. You'll see, oh, not quite catching it on that shot, but you'll see that the effort in the field is good, but at the same time, it's up to the batters here. This will show you. Underhand throw. Right there, he grounds his bat, and then the ball does hit the stumps, but he's safely home, Remandar. So this will be the last ball coming up over number 2. Make that over number 3. Second one being bowled by Imran Khan Jr. Oh, he did not mean it to go there, but he'll get 4 runs nonetheless. That goes into the hands of first slip any other day, but this time he gets enough of it that it flies over the top of Nitish Kumar and goes away for yet another boundary. So 19 runs on the board. Look at this again. Talked about the fact that he's bowling outswingers to the left-hander. Remandar looking to play that one straight. That swing takes it away and kisses the outside edge. Again, any other day that goes directly into the hands of Nitish Kumar at first slip, but this time he gets away with it. So, fast start here in the last couple of deliveries anyway. 3 runs, I'll make that 3 overs done, 19 without loss. $19 without loss after 3. Remandar 9 from 10. Unmuk Chand 9 from 8. Both openers have hit 2 fours each, so 4 total. Aaron Nadkarni back for his second over. Unmuk Chand gets a thick inside edge. The ball trickles to backward square leg. So the overall rate, scoring rate so far is 6.32. And we just seem to have lost the graphics on the screen just for a second, but I will describe where you are score-wise. 20 runs on the board. Each batter with 9. In fact, now Unmuk Chand with 10 and Remandar with 9. Scoring rate as of right now, 6.32 runs and over. The projected score based on that scoring rate is 126. I think that you can expect way more than 126, even though Remandar waves and misses at this one. because the conditions are such that you'll get, I think, full value for your shots. And interestingly, there you see Captain Sidesh Patari having a chat with Aaron Nadkarni. I think they're looking to fortify that area behind square on the leg side. Remember I said that that's the short side of the ground today, so it won't take much to clear that rope. The fielder at deep backward square leg might be in play. Aaron Nadkarni has to keep this ball outside the line of off stump. That is played away square of the wicket. It's the big boundary out there, but the ball will have the legs to get to the rope. Just trickling into the boundary now, just ahead of the fielder running back from backward point. And I'll tell you, this becomes very difficult to defend because I said that you have to keep the ball relatively close to off stump or just outside off stump because you don't want it to be too straight. But here, just a little bit more width than Aaron Nadkarni would have been comfortable with. And the ball is slashed away through that backward point area for yet another boundary. So you've had a few runs, a few fours trickle into the equation now. 5 of them in total, and you want to make sure as a bowling unit that you don't bowl too many loose deliveries. That last ball for me was a little wide. Ultimately, you would want to keep that ball on off stump or just outside. And now a change is being made, still inside the power play, so you can only have 2 fielders outside. That one of those 2 fielders is now square on the offside, so essentially defending against the shot that you just saw. And that's in the air just over the top of Sidesh Patari at mid-on, and it goes away for another 4. So 2 consecutive 4s here. One played square of the wicket through the offside, and then the other was on the stumps and punched over the top of mid-on. So consecutive boundaries here. First over bowled by Aaron Nadkarni only went for 4 runs. So far he's already conceded 9 in his second over. And those 9 runs have been the case even with 2 balls still to come. So again, a lot of firepower in this batting unit, and it's not surprising that you can see them off to a fast start. If you're not careful, they can run away and hide from you. Oh my goodness, a good sharp short delivery. You bowl that delivery at your peril if you are Aaron Nadkarni, because even a top edge from this end of the field will fly over the ropes at deep mid-wicket. That is only 62, 63 yards in that direction. So just a genuine top edge, even if it's not hit cleanly, can still fly over the ropes. So you use the short ball in this instance to the left-hander from this end at your peril. And I don't know that you'd want to consider doing that again. But we'll see exactly how he makes his way here through the innings. Last ball of the over here. Down the ground, a lot of work for Sidesh Patari. Will he get there? He will not get there. The third 4 in the over. An expensive over bowled here by Aaron Nadkarni. You've had 13 runs from that over. And at the end of over number 4, the score is 32 without loss. Let's take a look at this again. And this is why Remandar is so hard to bowl to. That ball was outside the line of off stump. It was probably a 4th stump line, and he dragged it wide of mid-on. So any other day he could have played that shot through the offside, because with the right-hander bowling over the wicket, slanting the ball across him, creating that angle, playing with that angle toward the offside is probably something that he would ordinarily do. But this time, feeling the need to drag the ball past mid-on. And so the mark of a good batter is one who can score multiple ways off of the same ball. So you can play it through the offside, or you can go through the leg side, which is what he did here. So runs starting to pick up a little bit. 10 came from over number 3, 13 now from over number 4, and immediately a change is made. Imran Khan Jr. will take a break, and it will be Hamza Khalid, who is bowling now from the northern end of the ground, the theater end. Hamza Khalid into the side today for the first time, certainly this weekend. And a young, even though he doesn't look as young as he used to, but still relatively young, fast bowler. lives in the Houston area, played all the years that he has in the Houston Cricket League, but also very active in the minor league system for the last 3 years. You are still inside the power play, and you're going to have to be careful. Again, now looking at Unmuk Chand facing from this end, the same applies in terms of the size of the boundary on the leg side. I'll say more about that shortly, as that's a wide umpire Vishnu Pillai indicating that he'll have to re-bowl that. So back to the boundary. The point that I was making when Remandar was batting from the northern end of the ground is that his leg side, the power stroke that he would have on the leg side, would be the shorter side of the ground. Well, the same thing applies here for Unmuk Chand, batting from the southern end with his leg side being the short side. And Unmuk Chand is a brilliant cricketer. Not only is he talented in terms of his physical attributes, but he's extremely heady, and he will know that if the ball is too straight, he can easily pick up runs on the leg side, and he will certainly be keeping that in mind. So bear in mind how that develops the rest of the way. It's going to be a very interesting passage of play here, because you're still inside the power play, the last 11 balls coming up here in the power play, but the scoring rate is picking up. It is now up to 8.16. That projected score based on that scoring rate is 163, and I anticipate that you'll keep that, or you'll see that continue to go up. Taking a look at this one, Remandar, watching it carefully. I think he was expecting for that to have been a wide, but umpire Vishnu Pillai satisfied enough that the ball was inside the guideline, that blue line. And so just one wide bowled in the match so far. So from that standpoint, it's been a well bowled match for the bowling side. And just a change in angle here. Hamza Khalid going around the wicket, looking to slant the ball in to Remandar from around the wicket. Did not go where he was looking to play it, but it does not matter. Gets 4 runs. That aggression is rewarded. That time, a big flash and a miss. Did not get anywhere near, not a miss, I'm sorry. Didn't get anywhere near the middle of the bat, but still plenty of wood on it that takes it over the slips cordon, or really that area, the fielders behind square on the offside. It's a moral victory for Hamza Khalid, because essentially you've beaten him for pace. I think Remandar looking more to play that one toward extra cover here. That definitely tells you that shot, it was aiming at extra cover in front of him on the offside, and that outside edge taking it over the top for another boundary. So you're conceding a lot of boundaries here, and I think you've seen where this certainly could get out of control if you're not lucky or if you're not careful. Big swipe and a miss. By the way, the third delivery in this innings, in this over rather, was also wide. So you've had 2 wides in the over so far. Hamza Khalid is a good fast bowler. A few seasons ago, he won, if I remember correctly, an award in Houston for being the quickest bowler in the league. And that's saying something for a league that has probably around 90 or so teams. Oh, what a shot. That is the shot that he was looking to play earlier. The one that went over the top of backward point off the outside edge. This one goes exactly toward extra cover. And you know he middled it because he held the pose there for any cameramen who were around wanting to take pictures. That is an elegant shot by Remandar. He now moves up to 29 from 18. There's on the replay just a solid stroke. I don't know that we'll have the chance to look at it from the viewpoint of the batter himself, but once he played the shot, he knew it went exactly where he wanted it to go. And some more work to do here for Hamza Khalid. Single. Yep, they do get the chance to get a single. So they're doing it in multiple ways here. They've picked up quick singles along the way, and they've also struck a bunch of boundaries, 9 of them in all. Had 6 singles, and interestingly, 48% of the deliveries that have been bowled in the inning so far have been dot balls. So every other ball essentially has been a dot ball, but the balls that have not been dot balls, they've basically been able to score at such a rate that they're scoring at the rate of 9.1 and over. A very healthy run rate. When Mukchand plays this into the offside, a long run, coming back for the second, but the easy way that they're scoring runs continues. 14 runs come from over number 5. Last one of the power plays coming up. The score is 46 without loss. "46 without loss." This is going to be an interesting bowling change for me. Nitish Kumar has the ball in hand, and he will be bowling the final over of the power play. Nitish Kumar, primarily known as a top order batter. I say known as a top order batter. He is a top order batter. And you would have seen him had you been watching the World Cup match right here in the stadium in 2024 between the US and Pakistan. If you were watching that match, whether on TV or here in the stadium, Nitish Kumar is the batter who hit the last ball of the innings in the second innings for 4 in order to bring up a super over in which the Americans won, stunning the Pakistani side. You can break out all the analogies that you want in terms of whether or not, or what the magnitude is of the U.S. beating Pakistan. Today being the opening day of NFL Sunday, I would say it would be similar to, we're here in Dallas, it would be similar to the TCU Horned Frogs defeating the Dallas Cowboys. It would be that big of a victory in terms of the likelihood of it happening. But obviously different stage here. Nitish Kumar bowling to the left-handed Remandar. Works this one into the leg side. This has risk written all over it. But sometimes you take a calculated risk in order to see if you can outfox the batters into a rash stroke. Nitish Kumar, I think, will tell you that he's a good off-spinner, but not necessarily a top-line bowler. And then you're bowling to this batting pair, in particular, bowling to Remandar with the power side being to his leg side, being the short side of the ground. That being the case, you as an off-spinner have to be really careful here, because if this ball is too straight, and you already have the angle with him coming around the wickets, but if this ball is too straight, you can elevate the ball over the leg side into the seats at deep mid-wicket very easily. So you'll have to be very careful here, Nitish Kumar. Now, I like what he's doing. He's pushing the ball through at pace, not tossing it up. You toss the ball up in the air, that invites the big drive. And Remandar and Unmukhchand are absolutely capable of cashing in there, but not giving them any flight to work with, just firing it in almost medium pace. That, is short, and he will probably be lucky here that he only gave up 1 run for that, because 2 fielders in in the circle on the leg side, and that ball almost bisected that gap. Had that gotten through, it would have gone all the way for 4. So you brought your part-time off-spinner in. He's conceded 4 singles inside the power play. That's not a bad solution at all. But you still have 2 balls remaining here, so you still have some work to do to close this over out without much more damage. See, this is ball number 5. Full toss, and it's 1 bounce for 4. That came so close to 2 things. First of all, being a 6, it ends up being a 4, but also very close to being called a no ball based on height. And Unmukhchand is livid because he believes that that should have been called a no ball. Let's see what happens here on this replay. This won't be the best angle, but I'll tell you what, even from that angle, it's at least close. And we would have to be able to see a square replay, a replay from square leg, if you will, to judge whether or not that would have been or should have been a no ball. 4 more. Cannot bowl that length, cannot bowl that line. So 2 or 4 relatively frugal deliveries, but then 2 forced closeout over number 6. 12 runs eventually come from the over. End of the power play, 58 without loss. Might be able to just see that replay here. Well, in fact, that's the boundary from that direction. You cannot bowl that line. Really, in most instances, you don't want to bowl that line going down the leg side. But I think you've seen evidence that if you are too straight or too full, either of these batters can punish you. Opening partnership now worth 58, scoring at the rate of 9.67 and over. Unmukhchand 15 from 13. Ramandar, the leading batter in the side, again 40 from 23. So change in bowling again. Nitish Kumar bowled over number 6 off spin. You now have a left-handed finger spin option, turning the ball away from the right-hander into the left-hander. That is Chaitanya Bishnoi. So left arm orthodox. You are now out of the power play. More fielders in the deep. You'd certainly expect that. Single down the ground. So the fielder's in the deep. That is long off, who just fielded that ball. Long on is there. Deep mid wicket is there. And deep square leg is there. Those would have been the ones outside the circle for the right-hander. Now the left-hander on strike. This is an interesting matchup because now the big side of the ground is to Remandar's leg side. So it won't be as easy for him to clear the boundary on the left side of your screen because that's hitting to the big side. Let's see exactly how Chaitanya Bishnoi handles this. That's well played. Just reaching forward and punching it into the leg side. I think, once again, Ramandar understands what I just said. So if you just go playing a rash stroke in the air from this end, it will likely stay inside the ropes and provide a catching opportunity. From the opposite end, then it becomes a cleaner hit because it's a much shorter boundary on that side. So we'll pay attention to how the batters maneuver themselves. Whoa, look at that shot from Unmukhchand. Sailing out of the ground for the first 6 of the match, and he absolutely nails this one. Chaitanya Bishnoi bowling from around the wicket, slanting it into the right-handed Unmukhchand. In theory, that ball would have been turning away from him, but he absolutely blasts this. Look at this. Slanted in, and to me, the length is the problem there. A little bit too full, not giving the ball to grip and turn from that direction, because when it's that full, Unmukhchand really didn't even need to come out of his crease to play that shot. And he belts it well over long on for the first 6 of the innings. Unmukhchand now into the 20s, 22 from 15, 66 runs on the board. And unfortunately, we have a slight delay as that ball was literally knocked out of the stadium. So a couple of singles and then a big 6 down the ground. I think you've seen evidence that Unmukhchand is more than capable of batting properly, batting normally. But look at this. While we wait on this, let's take a look at a few highlights. Top edge that time, and then Ramandar, to me, is very dangerous. You've seen him play the types of shots that he has, and the last couple, I think that in particular, this one over the top where he held the pose, that's the one that you'll want to see posted on Facebook later on, if these youngsters use Facebook. And then that last shot by Unmukhchand, just absolutely drilling that one. Back to live action here. Unmukhchand will have a single. So things are going certainly in the direction that you want them to here for the Kings 11 Dallas. Remember that they were put into bat. Lone Star Athletics choosing to bowl first. Under these conditions, whether you bowl or bat first, I don't think the weather in any way is a factor. And I think you just stick with whatever your preference is. But it turns out that if the Kings 11 side is either bowling or batting first, they are a truly amazingly talented side. Using the feet, skying it, but getting nowhere close. Oh, it is put down. You will not see that happen very often. That is Nitish Kumar, one of the safest pairs of hands anywhere in world cricket. And I do mean world cricket. He's an international level player. But you would think that that ball stayed in the air long enough that he would have been able to collect that. Falls short of him. Let's take a look at this again. So Remandar using the feet nowhere near the middle of the bat. And right here, Nitish Kumar, I think any other day takes that easily. But on this occasion, puts it down. So the last ball coming up here in over number 7. Already 11 runs coming from it. And this time a more traditional shot, just punching it down the ground. 12 runs come from over number 7. 10 runs and over is the scoring rate. The score is 70 without loss. So Nitish Kumar has the opportunity here to get his revenge, or at least not revenge, but to make up for what happened on the last ball of the previous over, or I should say the penultimate ball of the previous over. He dropped Remandar. Remandar was on 42 at the time, and he now gets a chance to see if he can atone for that drop, potentially by getting Remandar's wicket. Bowling his second over here, Nitish Kumar. Played off the back foot, couple of dots to start over number 8, a much more sedate over. But do not be deceived, this team can accelerate at any point in time. And that's going to be a single. Easily judged, that ball probably trickling no more than 10 yards away from the bat, but they do have enough to get a single in it. So this opening partnership now worth 71. Essentially, this pair at the top of the lineup sets the table, and then the big hitters come later. You're missing one big hitter in particular, Captain Corey Anderson. He batted yesterday at number 3, came in blasting the ball as you'd expect for him to do. But in the absence of Corey Anderson, the man who has stepped into the lineup is the former Sri Lankan player Dilshan Munawira. And I want to see exactly how he handles these conditions, but my goodness, anytime you can replace one international level player with another, that tells you the strength of the side that you have. And so just looking at what Dilshan Munawira has done in T20 matches in his career, 13 T20 matches for Sri Lanka, and 215 runs, high score of 53, and a strike rate of 131. And if that's playing at the highest level against Australia, India, New Zealand, etc., then you would think that he should be able to handle himself right here in the minor league system in the U.S. So, a really good over ball by Nitish Kumar, just 2 singles in it. And that brings, let's say, levity to the proceedings for the moment. 72 without loss after 8. So the first over bowl by Chetene Bishnoi was an expensive one. Looking to see if he can pull things back here. Looks for the sweep on Mukchand. Mukchand up to 24 from 18. Ramandar 45 from 31. Now just looking to see if he can find a way of prizing out a wicket. Oh, that's a fumble. And boy, that ball ricocheted very far off of the leg or the shin of the fielder at point, so far that they get 2 runs, where you could potentially argue that really should not have been an opportunity for a run. And that seems to be the kind of day that you're having so far in the field, the Lone Star Athletics. Chetene Bishnoi is an excellent bowler, but as of right now, just not able to staunch the flow of runs. That's skied. He did not get the middle of it. But it goes all the way for 6 anyway. It was in the air for a really long time, but as the point that I keep making, if Unmuk Chand is hitting to that side of the ground, it is the shorter side of the ground by some 20 yards as compared to the opposite side. And it's a genuine top edge. You see the fielder taking a look, and just over his head, I believe that's Rit Hinge on the boundary. Not able to prevent that from going for 6. Now Unmuk Chand following up with a single here. So the runs continue to flow. You have 9 runs in the over already with 2 to come. And you're already at 9, make that 81 runs for the day. Your scoring rate 9.35. The projection, and we'll keep watching that number, the projected score based on that current scoring rate is 187. Ramandar on strike. Played back to the bowler. So the last time we saw Ramandar go running down the wicket, trying to take on Chetene Bishnoi. Let's see if he chooses to do that again. That is in the air. How much of it did he get? Just about all of it, I believe. Yes. That's the big side of the ground. It does not matter to Ramandar. Another 6, so 15 runs come from over number 9. Chetene Bishnoi's 2 overs have cost him 27 runs. And the fast start continues for the Kings 11 Dallas. And with that strike, Ramandar gets to his 50. 51 from 33. He is not done yet. 9 fours and a 6. And the table is well and truly set for the Kings 11 Dallas side. 87 without loss. Nitish Kumar to continue. Unmuk Chand, 33 from 21. Ramandar just got to his 50, 51 from 33. And a really brilliant opening partnership continues. Swept away. A lot of work in the deep. In fact, Aaron Nadkarni is only on a reconnaissance mission as opposed to trying to save that ball. Another 4. Now moving into the 90s with the score. My goodness, this is going along exactly the way that you want it to if you're a Kings 11 Dallas supporter, because Unmuk Chand and Ramandar are looking really dangerous here. Oh, simple as you like. I may have just jinxed them. Unmuk Chand just tapping that one easily back into the hands of the ball in Nitish Kumar, and he will want to have done better with that ball. Unmuk Chand, oh, you cannot see that. The reaction from both striker and non-striker will tell you all you need to know, because this, for me, is about the simplest catch that you can take in a cricket match. So it looks like they'll be coming on for a quick water break. The water break is typically at the end of 10. You're into 9.2 here, so umpires think that it's appropriate to do this. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Unmukchan reaching out and playing this one well in front of his body. And that, for me, is about the most simple catch that you can take. Unmukchan would have wanted for that ball to come to him. If you're reaching for the ball, then essentially you have no control over it. Plus, you don't have any way of keeping it on the ground. So, quick water break. We'll go silent for a second ourselves. We'll be back shortly. So a few highlights from the first 9 overs and the 3 deliveries of this innings. Saw Unmukchan and Ramandar. Ramandar himself putting forth yet another 50. Saw those shots from the bat of the young left-hander. Now here's the man we just talked about, Dilshan Munawira, former Sri Lankan middle-order batter. And he'll be taking on or facing up to another international player, Nitish Kumar, who's known more for his exploits with the bat, but so far has been the lone bright spot in the bowling for the Lone Star Athletics, as he has taken the wicket of Unmukchan to break the opening partnership. Now need to start over again. Ramandar still there though. Off the back foot, that's a great stop at backward point. I think you save at least 2 runs there. And you want to see that type of effort in the field from your fielders. Nitish Kumar is into his 3rd over, if you can believe that. He's certainly not a top order bowler, but he's been the most successful of all of them. Paddled around the corner, no single there. A dot ball, a successful over, one of the more frugal ones that you've had in a while, just 6 runs scored, and the big wicket of the captain, Unmukchan. Halfway through the innings, the score is 93 for 1. Good look again at these shots from Ramandar. That one over extra cover for me was my favorite. And certainly he's shown an ability to bat long and to be aggressive. And that's what you want from your opening batter. The fact that he's a left-hander also adds to the mix. Going back to Hamza Khalid here for over number 11. Great delivery, Yorker length, but it's still dug out. And they will, just thought they might have the chance to get a 2nd run, but Dilshan Munawira not interested. So Dilshan Munawira facing now Hamza Khalid for the first time. I would think that this is the first time that he's ever faced Hamza Khalid in any form of cricket. So Hamza Khalid with 1 over in the books, 1 completed over. Into his 2nd over now. So we'll see exactly how he can go here to the former Sri Lankan international. run there. Well, does it feel like the tables have turned just a little bit? Does it feel like the Lone Star Athletics have started to fight their way back into this game, claw their way back into the game? With the fall of the wicket of Unmukchand, the economy rate or the scoring rate is falling just a little bit, not tremendously. It's still over 9. But you just get the sense that the bowling side has felt a little bit of momentum being created by having dismissed Unmukchand, and now with Dilshan Munawira needing to get started and essentially set himself up, you'd get the sense that you'd want to see whether or not you can get another wicket. Another wicket here would be absolutely brilliant for you if you're the Lone Star Athletics. Ramandar now on strike, 53 from 35. Low full toss. Wanted to look for the Yorker there, but missing the length. But if you're going to miss the length on your Yorker, you're much better missing it too full than too short. A Yorker, of course, being a delivery that lands like right at the feet of the batters. If you miss it too full, like that one was, then essentially it's a low full toss. If you miss it too short, then it becomes a half volley, and half volleys from this batting side can really disappear over the fence at long on. Cut away, a lot of work in the deep. They'll get a second run here. Dilshan Munawira coming back for that second run. Looked to be laboring a little bit, not quite as fleet-footed, for example, as Unmukchand was. But another good over underway. Just 5 from the over already. You have 98 runs on the board. So can you get yourself in the position where you continue pulling things back? The run rate now down to 9.05. Projection based on that run rate is 181. Played into the offside. It should just be a single. Chaitanya Bishnoi is out there. And then yet another over where only 6 runs score. So 2 consecutive overs where 6 runs have scored. And things have worked out a lot better in the last few overs for the Lone Star Athletics. Kings 11 Dallas is 99 for 1. Nitish Kumar will be bowling his full quota of overs. And I don't know that he came in looking to do that. Did he have another wicket here? Does he have another wicket? Oh, just over the top. I thought off the bat that he may have the wicket of Dilshan Munawira. Came dancing down the track, and I don't think he hit that anywhere near the middle of the bat. But it sails just out of reach of Cameron Sheikh on the boundary. Using the feet just on that replay, it looks like it hit very high up on the bat. He had some time and maybe could have been back another yard. If he's back another yard, he's still inside the rope and he probably is able to catch that, but it doesn't matter here. It's now 6. So you started out conceding a 6 when very easily I would think you could have had a wicket there. And Nitish Kumar at the start of his last over would want to have had his teammate help him out. Now that is off the middle of the bat. That is going to go, oh no, it does not go for 6. I thought it was off the middle of the bat and going for 6, but it turns out that the ball was taken by the fielder in the deep. That is wicket number 2, and both wickets taken by Nitish Kumar. And Nitish Kumar rewarding the faith that his captain has had in him. Now, I will say this. That ball is off the middle of the bat, but the bigger issue here is that That's to the big side of the field. The 82-yard boundary out there, had that been in another direction, easily it would have cleared the ropes. But you take on that big boundary at your peril. Wicket number 2. As they say, 1 brings 2. And after being taken to the cleaners in the first ball of this over, Nitish Kumar comes back to get his revenge. So 2 down, 105 for 2 is your score. Well, Dilshan Munawira flattered to deceive. 11 is what he ends up with from 9 balls, 1-6. But caught on the boundary, not even on the boundary. He was in maybe about 5 or so yards, but caught trying to get that second 6. New batter in is Obaspinar. Immediately off the mark here, Nitish Kumar bowling around the wicket exclusively to the right-handers. Let's see what you can get done here with these last 2 balls of his spell. Nitish Kumar again bowling comfortably, I think, a part-time bowler, but he's done excellently well here. And with 1 ball to go, your part-timer has taken 2 wickets, only conceded 27 runs, and this is exactly what you want to see. In the air, he's gotten a 3rd, and that is the big wicket of Remandar. Oh my! Nitish Kumar, Remandar, you'd want to think that he could have kept that ball down, and looking to play the cut shot, really didn't keep it down and didn't throw the kitchen sink at it. More diving it, or guiding it is what I should say, and straight to backward point for another wicket. So 2 wickets in the over, the 2 big wickets of first Dilshan Munawira and now Remandar. And all of a sudden, this match has taken on a completely different feel from just a few overs ago. The Dallas, make that Kings 11 Dallas, are 106 for 3. Take a look at this dismissal again, and Remandar's reaction right there tells you everything you need to know. The ball was not necessarily the best ball that he can bowl, Nitish Kumar, but Remandar really, with those types of, if you're playing a shot to that ball, you either keep it down along the ground, cutting it like maybe behind point, or you elevate it over the top with a big strike, and he did neither. So it's going to be Imran Khan Jr. back into the attack. So you've gone back to your premier strike bowler because if you're Sidesh Patari, the captain, you sense that there's an opportunity here to make even more inroads into this attack, or into this batting unit rather. So the new batter is in. I believe this is Ali Sheikh. We'll get that. Yep, that is Ali Sheikh who's at the wickets. And looking to see whether or not you can get more inroads into this deep batting side. They bat very deep, but 3 top order wickets will essentially upset any cricket side. And you've gotten to the point now where in the space of 2 overs bowled by Nitish Kumar, you've taken 3 absolutely critical wickets. The 2 openers, Unmuk Chand and then Remandar, and now Dilshan Munawira. So numbers 1, 2, and 3 have all been dismissed. Oh, what happened here? Down the leg side, it will go away for 4. And umpire Vishnu Pillai indicating that that's off the bat. So 4 runs to Obaspinar. Let's see what happens here. Well, I'll tell you what. He's looking to play this ball almost through the leg side. And somehow that comes off the edge of the bat and ends up behind square on the offside. So you've had a fortuitous start here, Obaspinar. 112 runs on the board, and this one is more intentional, playing it into the offside. Obaspinar, of course, one of the more excellent all-rounders that you'll see in cricket in this country. He's a major leaguer. He's obviously playing in the minor leagues, and I think his game is more suited for the long game, in other words, the 50-over matches, but he has talent and can execute in T20 matches also. Look at that delivery. Outswing, goes past the left-handed Ali Sheikh. And back to Obaspinar. In fact, let's look at this replay again. Look at that ball turn and curl away from Ali Sheikh. Those are difficult. The turning or the swinging away from the left-handed batter. Talked about that earlier. And it's good to see that that ball is still swinging for Ali Khan. I'm sorry, for Imran Khan. That's a dot ball to end over number 13. 113 for 3 is your score. One, 1, 3 for 4. Make that for 3. Ali Sheikh just to the crease, 1 from 3. Obaspinar 7 from 4. And now a switch or change made here. It's going to be Hamza Khalid bowling from now the southern end of the ground. Bowling to Obaspinar. Tell you what, late on that shot. Short fine leg in position. There's a deep square leg. There's a short third. There's a point. There's a cover fielder on the boundary and long on and long off. So very much a defensive field here for Hamza Khalid. This is going to be toward deep mid wicket. Pretty straightforward single taken. So you're getting to the point in the innings where you start thinking about how you're going to close. Only 114 runs on the board. I say only because the projected score for a while was at 200. It's back when the economy rate was around 10. The economy rate or the run rate is now around 8.5, 8.5. So the projected score there is 171. To me, 171 is still a stiff ask, but it's a far cry below where you could have been had the opening pair kept going. Ali Khan, I keep saying Ali Khan, Ali Sheikh playing this into the offside. So maybe you start thinking, all right, let's reassess where we are. 39 balls remaining in the innings. We've lost 3 wickets in quick succession. Maybe we downshift and get through the next 2 or 3 overs and then maybe build sort of a swashbuckling approach toward the back end. Obaspinar and Ali Sheikh are 2 batters. Working to the leg side again. I believe this should just be 1. They're doing it in singles at this stage. Again, I would think that that approach should be fine for the moment. At some point, you'll certainly want to be able to accelerate past that. Interestingly, I want to see whether or not Imran Khan bowls his last over now or whether or not you keep him back for the death overs. My sense is that you'd want to keep him back. Oh, look at this. That's going to be a no ball, I think. What happened? signaled as dead ball. And I think it's signaled as dead ball because there was some movement by the fielder short third. That is Imran Khan Jr. And to give Hamza Khalid credit, I think the reason the ball bounced about 2 feet from his own feet is because umpire Nashimuto was in the process of calling dead ball. Play it down to long off. I want to get a chance to see that again if we could, because that is, you don't see that happen very often. Look at this. Okay. That to me is number one, good umpiring, and number two, if you didn't know the context or were not able to see the umpire, that would be about the most comical thing that you'd have ever seen. Now, by definition, if the bowler bowls the ball and it bounces twice before it gets to the batter, by definition, that's a no ball. So looking at it live, I thought that's what the call was going to be. But umpire Nashimuto was actually calling, in the process of calling dead ball. 5 straight singles after the dot to open the over. So good one bowled here by Hamza Khalid. End of over number 14. The score is 118. Make that 119 for 3. So the scorecard tells the story. Ramandaran Unmukhchand put on 91 runs for the first wicket, but you go from 91 without loss to 119 for 3. So that's 3 wickets lost while only scoring 28 runs. And you've essentially been a little bit lacking in terms of your ability to generate any kind of momentum. Bowlers, 3 each for Imran Khan and Hamza Khalid. Nitish Kumar is done. Chaitanya Bishnoi is about to bowl. He has 2 more, including the one that's about to be bowled. Aaron Nadkarni still has 2. So in theory, those are the 5 bowlers that you could potentially use the rest of the way. 6 overs remaining, one of which is about to be bowled here by Chaitanya Bishnoi. And Hamza Khalid, 1 remaining. Aaron Nadkarni, 2 remaining. Imran Khan Jr., 1 remaining. So in theory, those would be the bowlers who would bowl the rest of the way. I don't necessarily see, Siddhesh Patari using another bowler here, unless he brings himself on, because he tends to be a little bit difficult to get away. A couple of dots to start over. In fact, the first one was wide. So now that is the first dot from the first official legal delivery in this over. Chaitanya Bishnoi's overs of figures 2, make that none for 28. But he's done well here. The second over that he bowled was an expensive one. Conceded all of 15 runs. And in fact, his first over also went for 13. So he got a lot of runs off of the batters. He had a couple more runs here. And for the moment, choosing to do it in the conservative way. Your options now become relatively limited until you get through the next passage of play. Maybe you get through over number 16, maybe another 9 balls, and then decide to launch at the back end of the innings. See whether or not they can do just that. Ali Khan, Ali Sheikh. And the reason why I keep saying Ali Khan, number one, is because I've always mixed them up. Number two, Ali Khan is currently playing in the Caribbean Premier League. I believe he plays for the Trinidad Knight Riders. But when the CPL is finished, Ali Khan will be on this team, the Kings 11 Dallas. And if I keep mixing them up now, cannot imagine what will happen when they're actually playing for the same team. Last ball coming up here in over number 1. Over number 15. Chaitanya Bishnoi has 1 to go. Bowling that 1 over here to Obaspinar, who's not quite gotten off to a fast start. 9 from 7. Solid in defense. Maybe you look to see what happens the rest of the, maybe for another over or so before you decide to launch toward the back end of the innings. End of over number 15, the last 5 coming up. The score is 123 for 3. So a new bowler into the attack. No, it's actually going to be Hamza Khalid to continue. Or is it? Yep. Down the ground. That is such a big hit from Ali Sheikh. And it goes all the way for 6. Hamza Khalid bowling his last over. But he's absolutely drilled down the ground. I suggested that maybe they take an over or so to reassess and see where things are. Well, they did not need that. At least certainly Ali Sheikh didn't. Look at that strike over the top of long off. Unfortunate, we may have a bit of a delay while the umpires have a replacement ball inspected and then put into use. Boy, this is something that you can ill afford. You've gotten a few tight overs on the way, but the first ball of the over being a 6, that puts you on the back foot immediately. That expression on Hamza Khalid's face tells you all you need to know. Going into the last over, or his last over now. So maybe if you're looking at where the remaining overs are going to come from, maybe you have overs 17 and 19 bowled by Aaron Nadkarni. Chaitanya Bishnoi has 2 remaining. Imran Khan Jr. has 1. So 17 bowled by, let's assume, Aaron Nadkarni. 18 by Imran Khan. 19 by Aaron Nadkarni. And then you need somebody to bowl the 20th. But you're not quite at that stage yet. Maybe you use Chaitanya Bishnoi in one of the remaining overs here. He has 2 overs left. My apologies, he has 1 over left. But I think that you're going to see that there's going to be a trick determining how to integrate the next bowler. That's struck down the ground. That is a single. So Ali Sheikh is the one who's looking to maybe take the bull by the horns here. 15 from 13. Obaspinar 9 from 8. So Hamza Khalid, this is his last over. Chaitanya Bishnoi bowled over number 15. So the idea is to see who is most likely to limit the scoring. I don't know that you bowl another over here of Chaitanya Bishnoi that's slammed into the X-cover area, no run. And so the one thing that I keep thinking is that you might use, the captain Siddhesh Patara might use himself. He's not a spinner, but he's also not a pacer, really just a medium pacer. And he's able to, as I said yesterday, keep the ball there or thereabouts and be able potentially to use up and over such that you don't need to have Chaitanya Bishnoi bowl another one. It's hard to consider a spinner bowling into the death. That is too straight, and Hamza Khalid will know that that ball needs to be on the off stump. Obaspinar finds 4 more to backward square leg. So runs are now starting to come thick and fast again. Look at the line of this ball. Oh, no, my goodness. Any batter worth his salt will want to see those deliveries, because anything that is that straight does not threaten the stumps. You can only have two fielders behind square on the leg side, a maximum of two. Usually it's just one, and so acres of space out there that you can use to cash in. That's what you saw from Obaspinar here. Played back past the bowler himself. So your opportunity to get something going here appears to have reappeared under the circumstances. And with one ball remaining here in over number 16, 12 runs already from the over. Scoring rate back up to 8.53. Ali Sheikh back on strike. Played square. Get one run. I think that's all they'll get. 13 runs from the over. A successful one for Kings 11 Dallas. Going into the last 4 overs now. The score is 136 for 3. Last 4 coming up. It's going to be Imran Khan Jr. Interesting. So this is his last over, Imran Khan. Bowling over number 17. Look out here. Wanted the wide and eventually gets it. Umpire Vishnu Pillai wanting the ball to be dead first before giving a signal. But I don't think that there was any question that that was wide. Take a look at this again. Down the leg side. Anytime it goes down the leg side, while that rule is going to change, that regulation will change in another year. As of right now, it's still the case that the ball that goes down the leg side is considered to be wide. Anytime a signal into the leg side for Ali Sheikh, 17 from 15, Obaspinar 14 from 11. Curious decision to use Imran Khan Jr. here. I don't know that I wouldn't have wanted him to be bowling deeper into the innings, either 19 or 20. Obaspinar wants the big hit, not able to get to it, and then that creates an opportunity for a second run. So it should be 2 leg byes. In fact, no signal from umpire Vishnu Pillai, so maybe that came off the inside edge of the bat. Let's take a look here. So not a lot in the LBW appeal, because from that wide of the crease, the ball is definitely pitching outside the line of leg stump. But given as runs, so apparently there was an inside edge. On the leg side, this is a great take by Jay Desai. Few extras piling up now. Not a whole lot. 5 of them. Imran Khan Jr. just wanting to make sure that he gets this essentially in the same zip code as where the bowlers or the batters are, because it's been a little bit loose, spraying the ball around a little bit in this over in particular. Obaspinar with a big wind-up and a big swipe. 3 balls remaining now. Over number 17 is almost completed, which means you have another 21 balls in the innings. 21 balls, scoring at 12 and over. In other words, you score 2 overs, or you score what you've done here. The projected scores of right now, 172. picking up those singles certainly makes it a possibility. Wanting to make sure this pair that they're able to put together something that is worth defending. Doing it mostly in ones and twos, but as of right now, the partnership is worth 37 runs. Oberspinar is really taking some huge whacks at these balls. Big wind up, looking to get it in the leg side, but a good over so far. Saved a couple of wides from Imran Khan Jr. Now let's see what Ali Sheikh can do with this last ball. No run opportunity there. A good one to close the over. That is the end of the day with the ball for Imran Khan Jr. Score is 144 for 3. $145 for 3. Going to be Aaron Nadkarni to bowl his third over. Imran Khan conceding 30 from his 4 overs, so economy rate of 7.5 is not a bad one under most circumstances. And Aaron Nadkarni will look to get an economy rate that is more in line with what he knows he can deliver. Bowling now to the left-handed Ali Sheikh. Oh, loopy full toss. It's a single down to long off. In fact, not a single. They come back for a couple. Didn't think that had the legs to get a couple, but eventually did. Your options now for scoring are, I think, from this angle or from this side, in the benefits of the batting side if Ali Sheikh is on strike, because this is the shorter side. He can access this leg side. And let's see what Aaron Nadkarni will bowl. Down the ground should just be a single though. It is Nitish Kumar in that area, making sure that that's just a single. Under these circumstances, you're in the back end of the innings. Maybe not quite the score that you were looking for earlier, but you still have 17 balls. In fact, we'll see exactly how many overs, how many balls are left. 15, make that 16 balls remaining the rest of the way. Did he get all of this? Did he get all of us? He got plenty of it. And it lands on the terrace over long on. So Oberspinar now joining the hitting party. So let's see exactly what you can do from here. But this becomes essentially a way to control the game, of course. Getting the ball in the slot. You drill it down the ground. It's actually off of the facade for the side screen. But more to the point, the batters do now seem to feel a little bit more carefree. Partnership of 47 is what you're looking for here. Height and distance. This one goes much further. This is a brilliant strike by Oberspinar. Consecutive sixes here in over number 18. And they are going to run through the tape. To use a track analogy, Oberspinar getting this one in the slot. Hamza Khalid probably wants to be, Aaron Nadkarni probably wanting to be either much fuller, meaning Yorker length, or shorter, keeping the bats or keeping the ball in such a way that Obaspinar has to play on the leg side toward the big side of the ground. I wouldn't mind seeing, for example, a slower bouncer, tempting him to hit a slower bouncer into the leg side, because once again that would be the long side for him. But not really taking the chance to do any of that. I really am not sure what his intention was, Aaron Nadkarni. I think bowling a Yorker is never a bad idea. And if you have the skill set to be able to bowl that Yorker falling straight right at the toes of the batters, then under these circumstances, that's always going to be a good option. But if you miss the Yorker, and I said this earlier, it ends up just being a low full toss. I'm sorry, it ends up being a half volley. And half volleys to a man the stature of Obaspinar will get you in trouble every time. So, bit of a delay waiting for the replacement ball to come out. Well, let's see what type of response Aaron Nadkarni has here. Had a really successful first weekend last week. You see a couple of these big strikes from Obaspinar, the second of which is out of the stadium. Obaspinar is very tall, has good range, and I said this yesterday, for bowlers, it becomes a threat to them because he's so good. Now, that's what I was talking about earlier. He's hitting to the big side. I don't know that I don't incentivize him to hit in that direction the rest of the way. Now, you are essentially at the point where you have one ball remaining here in over number 18. Take a look at this again. Oh, you see the reaction there from Aaron Nadkarni. He knows the second that he released that ball, saw the reaction, he knows that this really was something that was just going to go the distance. Last ball. Skied it. Did not get the distance this time. And you will not see a cleaner catch than that from Nitish Kumar. So Obaspinar was having fun hitting out, and the last ball skied in the air, and it is taken on the boundary. The ball went miles in the air, but did not go the distance. In fact, that's Ali Sheikh, my apologies, who hit that one in the air and not really getting anywhere near the middle of the bat. And Nitish Kumar judging it well, taking it above his head, very close to the rope, so wanting to make sure that he doesn't step on the rope. And that becomes wicket number 4. 161 for 4 is the score after 18. Another look at this catch, skied in the air. And I'll tell you what, Nitish Kumar left himself a fair amount of room for error there. He was in off of the ropes by probably 2 yards, it looks like, from that replay. This is interesting. Earlier I said that you'd want another bowler, and he brings himself on here. Sudesh Patare going to be bowling the new batter. In fact, though, the new batter is at the non-striker's end. That is Sahib Malhotra. And it's going to be Obaspinar who's on strike. Now, Sudesh Patare is going to have to be full and wide, you would think, or if not full, short of length. You don't want him driving you down the ground. Tries a reverse sweep. It's an interesting option for the new bowler. But Sudesh Patare, very experienced and somebody who can essentially manage the situation. I thought he would have brought himself on earlier, because it's a strange time to be introducing yourself into the attack in over number 19. Down the ground, And the one who takes this is one of the fielders outside of the circle warming up. So when the catch is being taken by people in the stands or on the sidelines, that tells you what you need to know. Where did this ball end up? Look at this. It's actually a low full toss that is drilled down the ground by Obaspinar. Oh, oh, Mr. Taimuri, you had better hands than that when we played together. Let's just go outside the line of off stump, signaled as wide. Jay Desai, keeper, wanting to make sure that his bowler knows that there is a specific line outside of which you cannot bowl. That's exactly what you saw just now. I'll tell you what, towards deep extra cover, they may look for two here. They do come back for the second run. Good strong throw, but not any realistic way of keeping that from being two. So down to the last three. 200, etc. is not an option anymore, you wouldn't think, unless somebody catches lightning in a bottle sometime in these last 9 balls. But something in the range of 185, I think, is still possible. Here's Siddhesh Patari again. Huge drive and a miss. So Obaspinar 39 from 21. Saeed Malhotra has not yet faced. The 170 is not 170 on the board. That is yet another dot. So good things are happening here in the last couple of deliveries for the Lone Star Athletics. Now you do have to make sure you get out of the over. Siddhesh Patari, the captain, essentially looking to will himself and his team to a good close to the innings. And that is played back to Siddhesh Patari himself. That is well done. A dot ball. He had one big hit in the over 6, but only 9 runs from the over. So 170 runs on the board with the last over coming up. Last over to be bowled here by Aaron Nadkarni. Short delivery, played into the leg side for a single. At the risk of repeating myself, I said earlier that it makes more sense for Aaron Nadkarni to incentivize the right-handed batters to play into the leg side from this end, because that is the big side of the field. And even if you hit the ball out of the screws, it does take some hitting to clear the rope at deep mid-wicket, because that boundary is 82 yards. Now, starting out with a single here, Aaron Nadkarni, I think, would want about 5 more of those, or would accept 5 more of those. Short. This time it is down the leg side, and it also is signaled wide. So you certainly understand why he's bowling short, but you're also in the position of only being able to bowl 1 bouncer per over. So a bouncer by definition is a short ball that bounces ahead or above shoulder height. He's already bowled that 1. That also went for wide, so he cannot bowl any more of those. You can bowl short, but it just can't be bouncing above head height. That's not short enough. That is hammered away over the top for 6. Well, Obaspinar is not going to deal with you in any way other than aggressively at this stage of the innings. The last 4 balls coming up, and he knows that you only have one option. That option is to just go big. You used up your 1 bouncer for the over already. And Obaspinar is a very tall man, so what might be a bouncer, maybe chest height to someone else, is not that difficult to deliver for him. Down the ground, will this be catchable? Nitish Kumar with yet another catch. So great ball by Aaron Nadkarni, because what he did there is he took the pace off of it. When you're bowling as quickly as he is, and you take the pace off, and you see there, that's a good representation, almost as though he bowled a back of the hand slower delivery. I'd want to see that again, out of the hand of the bowler, because that is a beautifully bowled delivery. You know that Obaspinar wants to go after you. You know that he's looking to swing for the fences. But having done that and having set yourself up in such a way that you're backed into a corner, can't use any more short balls, he does pull a rabbit out of the hat, Aaron Nadkarni, and bowls an excellent slow ball to dismiss Obaspinar. So new batters in, Amshi De Silva. Scoring 178. That is an excellent comeback by Aaron Nadkarni. Amshi De Silva on strike. Sahib Malhotra at the non-strikers end, 1 from 1. They'll look for a single here. This should be a leg by, I believe. No signal from umpire Kartik Nachamutu, so it's just a single. Last 2 balls coming up. Here's Obaspinar going downtown a couple of times. That second one, and you saw the reaction from Aaron Nadkarni, and then that last one hit flat and hard. So absolutely brilliant batting by Obaspinar. I think that you've seen where he has been one of the more dangerous batters. Probably of all of the batters, the one who probably intimidated the most. 45 from 25, 2 4s and 4 6s. Oh, great delivery, bang on target, and it is dug out and back to short fine leg for another single. So last ball coming up. You've had certainly a 6 in this over, but apart from the 6 and the wide, Aaron Nadkarni is actually doing very well here. So you'll see in the meantime the opportunity to close this out in style. You've already held them, I think, to a below par score for them. 180 is not a low score, but it's, I think, less than what they'd expect. Oh, slower delivery again for the last delivery. That is a great ball from Aaron Nadkarni. So he learns from his mistakes from the previous over, and I think does very well here. Anytime you bowl 1 over, the last over of the innings, only concede 11 runs and take a wicket, for me, that is a net benefit to your side. So Lone Star ends up, make that the Kings 11 Dallas ends up with 181 for 5. There's the scorecard. Remandar and Umukchand up top, 54 and 37 respectively. Dilshan Munawira didn't do much in his debut. Obaspinar 45 from 25. Ali Sheikh 22 from 20. And Saeed Malhotra and Amshi De Silva at the back end of the innings to close things out. For the bowlers, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. Aaron Nadkarni was expensive, but he came back to get that wicket in the last over. Imran Khan Jr., 4 overs, none for 30. Nitish Kumar, the surprise with the ball, 4 overs, 3 for 27. Not only did he have 3 wickets, the highest number of wickets, but the lowest economy rate. So quick look at the highlights. As you see, I think the fast start, especially from Remandar, of all of these shots that you see from Remandar, the one that I would want to focus on is the one over extra cover. You'll see it shortly. He really did well while he was out there. There should be the next one, I believe, that one for me is the shot of the day, at least for him. And then this is swept away. Dominant performance while he was there, and then the backup, or not the backups, but a couple of other bowlers, or batters rather, coming in and throwing their bat around. Unmuk Chand was also very good, but ended up there, Unmuk Chand serving a pretty simple one back to Nitish Kumar. His reaction tells you all you need to know. That's skied down the ground. And this is a catch taken to dismiss Dilshan Munawira. And the third, and probably the biggest wicket of all, Remandar. That didn't go where Obaspinar was looking to play it, but a couple of blows from Ali Sheikh. And Obaspinar with 1, 2, 3, and 4 sixes. That's Ali Sheikh in the mix. Ali Sheikh being caught right here by Nitish Kumar. And for me, that one, and this is the biggest of all of them, out of the ground. But this here is a good catch. Nitish Kumar coming in to take his third catch, if I remember correctly. And so, that's what you have going into the to the innings break. 181 for 5, 10-minute break. We'll see whether or not the Lone Star Athletics can overhaul a target of 182. See you soon. Back here in Grand Prairie, taking a look at the highlights from the first innings. 181 is where the Kings 11 Dallas side ended up. And the openers are in position, and you'll see whether or not those openers can get something going to push toward targets of 182. Not going to be easy. Chetene Bishnoi and Sushant Madani facing up to a young man who I had not laid eyes on until yesterday for the first time. 17-year-old Rishabh Shimpi. 17 years old, so he's absolutely raw, but he's full of pace. He absolutely brings the heat, and maybe just a little bit wayward in terms of line and length sometimes. He's, again, 17 years old, but the effort that you've seen from him, look at that football skills on top of it. But the effort that you've seen from him suggests that he will be able to do this probably for the next 15 to 20 years. He's an absolutely brilliant diamond in the rough. Sushant Madani is now going to be on strike. You saw Chetene Bishnoi with a single from that delivery just now, the one that included the attempted kick by Rishabh Shimpi. Sushant Madani, the right-hander, the left-handed Chetene Bishnoi. You will see Sushant Madani be very aggressive, I would think. And to that point, you'll see that he knows that you're needing to score at the beginning of the innings somewhere around 9. In fact, the exact required rate at the start of the innings, 9.1 and over. So just a little bit over 9 and over. But you also know that he has the ability, Sushant Madani, to score very quickly. Leading batter for the side, Sushant Madani, in 4 innings has scored 93 runs. High score of 30, so that doesn't sound like much. But his strike rate of 131 is the highest strike rate in the side among the top order batters. And then for the time being, I think that you've seen that once he knows what the target has to be, or what the target is, once that's been established, he is able to push on toward that target. Certainly that's the skill that he's shown in recent years in the minor leagues, and being asked to do that here. Good couple of deliveries. I'll tell you what, the line and the length that are being bowled by this youngster, Rishabh Shimpi, is exactly what you're looking for if you want to keep batters quiet. There's a good look at him. He's 17 years old. He looks 12, to be honest. But he is tall, he's lanky. I'd give his height at somewhere around 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. And he is lightning. That ball pops out of his wrist like there. Look at that. Looking to swing that one away on the leg side, Chetene Bishnoi. Coming off the inside edge, almost appears as though he was beaten for pace, Chetene Bishnoi. So 1 ball remaining here in over number 1. Rishabh Shimpi doing what you saw him do yesterday. He ended up being a little bit expensive in yesterday's game, but there's no doubting the pace at which he bowls. Maybe in a minute we'll go over his figures from yesterday, because seeing what the figures are on paper, I think, does not tell the full story about the type of bowler that he is. Last ball over number 1, played off the back foot, Chetene Bishnoi. There is a sweeper, not a sweeper, but a backward square leg, a backward point rather, on the boundary. Amsha De Silva is the one who cleans up. 1 run coming from that last ball. 3 runs coming from the over. Brilliant start. Scores 3 without loss. So talked a second ago about the figures that you saw from Rishabh Shimpi. 3 overs bowled, 1 for 28. The 1 wicket that he took was the wicket of Matthew Trump, with a good sharp short ball that Matthew Trump hooked at and missed. and it was frankly off of the helmet of Matthew Trump, taken by the keeper. So essentially, I believe that that was an oversight by the umpire, who did not give that one, or who gave it out when it likely should not have been out. But it's less about the dismissal or not dismissal, if you will, and more about the fact that he beat a bowler, or the batter rather, of the likes of Matthew Trump, beat him for pace on a short delivery. So even though he ended up, Rishabh Shimpi, with an economy rate of 9.3, which is expensive, under the circumstances, you accept your bowler being a little expensive if he brings that type of raw pace. And I want to see how he develops the rest of the way. Oh, this is played down the ground. It is Ali Sheikh who's on the boundary. By the way, we never did announce the fact that it is Oba Spinar who's bowling the second over of the innings. Left arm orthodox. Oba Spinar, you saw him bat earlier, is a right-handed batter, but left arm orthodox bowler. But what's important about him is that he has the ability to bowl the arm ball. The one that goes on with the arm goes away from the left-hander. Oh, what happened here? Run out opportunity at the non-striker's end. See any signal from the umpire? That's going to be buys. Buy signal by umpire Kartik Nachimutu. So three singles, the third of which was a buy. And now the options for Oba Spinar with the new ball in hand. He can bowl the arm ball, as I said, or he has the ability to bowl the regulation off break, the one that turns away from Sushant Madani. So let's see how he goes here. In the air, in the deep, and taken. Easy as you like, well judged. First wicket is down. Taking on the big boundary, you do that at your peril. I said that a couple of times already. And this time a pretty clean catch taken in the deep and no issues whatsoever. Look at this, the ball lofted in the deep and the fielder coming around and coming in. You see where he took that catch? He's well off the boundary line, which means that even had he hit it better than that, Sushant Madani, it still would have had a long distance to go before it got to the ropes, which is why I keep saying you take on that boundary at your peril. So wicket is down. First wicket falls. 4 wickets in, or 4 delivers rather, into ball, into over number 2. You have a wicket. The score is 6 for 1. So clean catch taken there in the deep. Rahman Dar, the man with the catch. And that puts you in a tricky position here. I talked up Sushant Madani, and I expected that he would be one who would help move the scoring along. That looks right there like what you'd expect, because Sushant Madani is a brilliant batter, but this time choosing to take on the big boundary when he probably should not have, certainly not this early in the innings. That is true. First delivery, just played away so easily, easy as you like. 4 runs by Nitish Kumar. The very first ball that he faces, he caresses it through the covers for 4. So look at this, not much flourish, just ooh, front foot bent, head over the ball. That's what you want to see. I would contrast that with the shot where you saw Unmuk Chand get dismissed to the same batter, really the same person who's now batting, who's the bowler on that occasion, Nitish Kumar. And you saw where Unmuk Chand played a little bit in front of his body, ended up just chipping a return catch back to the bowler. This time Nitish Kumar waits for the ball and then punches it on the ground all the way for 4. Successful over, though, for Kings 11 Dallas. 8 runs coming from it, and the wicket of Sushant Madani. 11 for 1 after 2. So we're into over number 3, the second one being bowled here by Rishabh Shimpi. Single off the first ball. And so you're doing it with 2 lefties. A ton of lefties in the lineup. Even having lost Corey Anderson, who is a left arm medium pacer, you have Rishabh Shimpi, who is bowling now. Say more about that in a minute. Short delivery. Didn't get a hold of it, Chaitanya Bishnoi, but gets enough of it to get it over short fine leg, and it goes away for 4. Now, if I have the pace that Rishabh Shimpi does, and I can bowl short, I probably want my fine leg to be further back. I want him back on the backward square leg or on the fine leg boundary, because at that pace, the ball is going to clear fine leg even off of a thin edge, and certainly beaten for pace, Chaitanya Bishnoi, but with fine leg inside the circle, that ball is always going to carry over the top. Ooh, wraps him in front. A long look there by umpire Vishnu Pillai, but deciding that this is not hitting. Maybe we'll take a look at that again. But in the meantime, the point I was making, in fact, let's look at the replay. Yeah, that angle for me takes it down the leg side, so good decision for umpire Vishnu Pillai. But you have bowlers, left-arm bowlers. Chaitanya Bishnoi is a left-handed bowler himself. He's batting. But in terms of the Dallas or the Kings 11 Dallas, a number of left-arm bowlers in the air and just wide of mid-off. Ali Sheikh after it, coming back. It's going to be 2 more runs. Let me finish this point before I lose track of it. Left-arm bowlers, you have Rishabh Shimpi in the attack right now. You have Obis Pinar opening the bowling, left-arm spin. You have Ali Sheikh, who just fielded that ball, left-arm orthodox. You have Surya Selva Kumar, left-arm pace. So even with the loss of Corey Anderson, who is himself a left-arm fast bowler, you still have a bevy of left-handed bowlers in the side. The advantage there is that it's an unorthodox idea just by virtue of most of the population being right-handed. Most bowlers in cricket are right-handed bowlers. So when you have a left-hander, that essentially gives you a different look, and then it creates a different angle, for example, for the left-handed fast bowler, bowling over the wicket, slanting the ball across the right-handed batters. That tends to be something that makes them uncomfortable. So, a long way of saying this is a very good bowling attack, if for no other reason than the fact that you have all the left-handers in it. And you'll see when the left-handed spinners come on later, to include Ali Sheikh, who you just saw throw that ball. They can be a handful. End of over number 3, 19 for 1. Obis Pinar, excuse me, Obis Pinar has bowled 1 over, and it looks as though he'll be immediately taken out of the attack. Obis Pinar's first over, in fact his only over, cost 8 runs, but he took the big wicket of Sushant Madani. So then he's rested immediately, and it's now going to be a new bowler coming from the south end, cut away into the deep. Should just be a single. This is Sanchit Sandhu bowling over number 4. Right arm pace bowler. So you have left arm bowlers, you have left arm pace bowlers, you have right arm pace bowlers, you have left-handed spinners, and you have the right-handed leg spinners, Adam Khan and Sahib Malhotra. So just a very varied bowling attack. And you have, depending on the batters who are at the wicket, obviously that will determine which bowlers you go with. But you have several different options as bowling unit. Glanced away for 4. You cannot be that straight. And anything at the pads with fine leg inside the circle is asking for trouble. So that is 4, number 3 on the day. Cannot bowl that straight. Look where this ball is, going down the leg side, and all that Nitish Kumar had to do is just get some bat on it. That ball is always going to run away down the hill for 4. So halfway through at least 2 deliveries into his first over here, Sanchit Sandhu. That's better. The line is what you want to see on the stumps, or maybe just on a 4th stump line, just outside the line of off stump. That for me works a lot better in terms of a target. And with the effective scoring rate, the scoring rate that you need being close to 10, what you're trying to do is bowl several tight overs to make that scoring rate, required rate, go up. Using the feet, punching it to mid-on, run out opportunity. Look how quick Obaspinar is, but in this occasion, Nitish Kumar is quicker. So you like seeing that aggression, you like seeing them take on the fielders in the deep, but Obaspinar is one of the best in the league. Fielding-wise, he's a tall man, around 6'3", but he can get down and pick those up, and the bullet throw toward the stumps, that might make you think a couple times about whether or not you want to take him on. But in any event, you need runs, you need them quickly, so maybe that's one way of going about doing it. Oh, look at this. Hurts him with the short ball. That will not feel good. And I want to see that again. To be very frank, I had my eyes off the screen. I saw the end result. Didn't see the ball itself. We'll see the replay in just a second. But he's certainly in some difficulty, Chaitanya Bishnoi. And I'm not sure exactly. Okay, this will give us a good look here. He's trying to play the scoop shot. And half of the population is groaning and wincing in agony. We probably don't want to look at that. I'm not sure why I'm laughing. We probably don't want to look at that one again because let's just say he was hit in his middle stump. It is never a good thing to feel that. And very frankly, the only thing that fixes that is time. The magic spray will not help. The physio will not help. And let's just say you need a couple more minutes before you're, let's just say, back to normal. I am navigating this minefield as easily as I can, but let's just say that that did not feel very good. In any event, the scoop shot is what he attempted there, and unfortunately for him, paid the price. Chaitanya Bishnoi. We groan and we wince and we wait for him to hopefully be okay. Again, about the only thing that solves that specific problem is time. Let's just say, my good friend, it's good to hear from you. Last ball of over number 4. Down the leg side, look at that excellent piece of work. That is Surya Selvakumar. He saves 4 runs. Absolutely, unquestionably, that ball would have gone down the ground for 4. Glancing it away, and look at Surya Selvakumar behind square on the leg side. And that ball gets by him. That is 4 runs all the way. So that is how you continue building pressure. End of over number 4. A difficult one for Chaitanya Bishnoi, but he lives to fight another day, relatively speaking. So the comments that are coming in are just absolutely outstanding. The less said about them, the better. So end of over number 4. The score is 26 for 1. Change in bowling. Amshi De Silva. Goes past the bat of Chetene Bishnoi. Waiting to see exactly. Okay, my apologies. On that last ball, the save by Surya Selva Kumar, actually, they ran a single. So he didn't save 4 runs, but he did save 3. Doesn't at all take anything away from the excellence with which he fielded. You'll see him bowl later on, you would think. Looks to slash this one away. So a couple of dot balls to start over number 5. You're in the scenario here where you're starting to see the required rate build. You're scoring at exactly the rate of a run a ball. 26 balls have been bowled. You have 26 runs scored. But with the required rate at the start of the innings being 9.1, that puts you in the position where that required rate starts increasing. It's now up to 9.96. And the bowling, as I said, is very varied and very excellent. It's a good piece of batting, just dropping the ball just behind the stumps and getting a single. But again, you're doing it at this stage exactly at a run a ball. You do need at some point to accelerate past that. So we'll see here what you're able to do. Do you try to take on the change bowler, Amshi De Silva? Amshi De Silva bowling here the last, in fact, 9 balls remaining inside the power play. And let's see what he can get done here with Nitish Kumar. Whipped away. That is such a solid shot. Nitish Kumar is so easy on the eyes, playing that one through the leg side, just flicking that ball, maybe a touch too straight from Amshi De Silva, and Nitish Kumar making him pay. 4 runs through mid-wicket. Look at this again. Yeah, definitely too straight and a minimal effort, just working it into the leg side. Timed beautifully. He is absolutely brilliant cricketer, Nitish Kumar. And you saw evidence of it there. Last ball coming up over, in fact, 2 balls remaining over number 5. Played into the offside, no run. So even though he's not physically very big, doesn't strike you as a huge, like a physical, muscular type player, he times the ball well, and then he's much more powerful than you would think. Nitish Kumar can clear any one of these ropes, including the big boundary on the eastern side of the ground. So you don't want to make a mistake to him. We'll see exactly how well Amshi De Silva can close the over here. Works it into the leg side again. That is Dilshan Munawira. No run. 5 runs coming from the over after all of that. So you still fall behind on the required rate. End of over number 5, 31 for 1. Chetene Bishnoi, 13 from 16. Nitish Kumar, 15 from 10. This pair is being asked to pull themselves out of trouble. Cut away. Oh, I think that might have been just slowly deflected by the field at backward point. That is Amshi De Silva in that spot. And I think he did just enough to prevent that ball from going to the deep point boundary. So a single to start over number 1. Make that over number 6, the last over in the power play. And you're definitely in the position here where you're falling behind. You're going to start falling behind. And it's going to be required of you in a minute to start finding ways to accelerate, to find an opportunity to get through the gears to start attacking this required rate that is now above 10. And that's one way to attack. Loft it in the air. It's going to clear mid-on and land beyond the ropes for 6. Well, if you want to attack, you can do worse than ask Nitish Kumar to turn things up. Goes down the ground. Look at this, advancing down the track. You saw that, just a skip down the track. It became essentially an easy hit. The reason for that is that mid-on is inside the circle. You're inside the power play still. So the length that was bowled is a good length given that mid-on is inside the circle. Essentially, that fielder is not expecting the ball to go over his head. But what Nitish Kumar does is advance down the track, and a ball that could have been played square, he played down the ground. And that is hammered. Oh my goodness. Full of disdain. Through extra cover for another 4. So then 6 and 4, 10 runs from balls 2 and 3 of over number 6. That is elegant. That might have looked better than the 6. Oh, that has class written all over it. Brilliant strike. So now things get interesting because Nitish Kumar has turned things up. He's now moving upward, going through the gears, 25 from 12. The required rate has gone back down. It's now under 10, 9.6 to be specific. 3 balls remaining in over number 6. Get a single here. Dushan Munawira not really able to pick up cleanly. But boy, flurry of runs all of a sudden, and that's put you in the position here where Chaitanya Bishnoi, who has been watching at the non-striker's end for a while and probably for his benefit doing exactly that. But I would think that he's going to want to join the party sometime soon. Chaitanya Bishnoi, 14 from 17. You need a strike rate above 100 to be able to challenge this target, though. So let's see if he can turn things up. Looks to cut this one away. That reaction tells you all you need to know. There is all kinds of opportunity for runs there. There's a man at backward point. That's Amshi De Silva, I believe. And you get the ball either side of him, that is 4 runs all the way. But was not able to get any bat on it. So the last ball coming up here in the power play. 12 runs already from the over. So productive over from that standpoint for the Lone Star Athletics. Long way to go though. Last ball. That's where he was trying to play it earlier. Gets it fine up the fielder at backward point. That is Amshi De Silva, and it races away to the ropes. 16 runs come from over number 6. That's exactly what you're looking for. Chaitanya Bishnoi throwing the kitchen sink at that one and finding the ball off the, frankly, the outside edge of the bat, but enough bat on it that it goes away for 6. So a big over. You needed that one, and I said 16. I actually meant 18. My apologies. 16 came from that over. And the score at the end of 6 is 47 for 1. So productive power play, and you're keeping up with the rate that you need to as of this stage, at least in the last couple of overs. 16 runs come from over number 6. That is certainly to your advantage. This is now Amshi De Silva. Great ball, goes past the outside edge. So it's interesting, at the end of the power play, the Kings 11 Dallas had 58. 58 runs were scored inside the power play when it was Unmuk Chand and Remandar who were going crazy. As of this stage, because of the fact that they lost a bunch of wickets in the middle overs, the Lone Star of the Kings 11 Dallas essentially slowed their scoring rate down. So even though, and that is hammered away, I'll get back to that point, that is 6. You cannot bowl there to Nitish Kumar. He will maul you like he did on that ball. Excellent stuff. Well, you bowl full and you go past the outside edge, and then you choose to bowl short. And this is what happens when you bowl short to Nitish Kumar in this mood. Ball landing well beyond the dugout area for yet another 6. So that, well, I said another 6. That's actually the second 6 of the innings to go along with 6 fours. They're off to a fast start here, Nitish Kumar and Chaitanya Bishnoi. That partnership now worth 47. And Amshi De Silva will know that he'll probably find more success bowling a fuller length. Oh, it goes very short. Appeal for a catch. The umpire, Vishnu Pillai, is not interested. The fielders in the inner circle all have their hands on their heads, and then it's given as a wide. And I believe it's given as a wide for height. Can't see anything there on the replay, even though if you ask me to guess on that replay, I would guess that it did not come off the bat or the glove. Let's see. Yeah, to me that looks like it's passing everything that matters. More to the point, it's given as a wide, I believe, potentially having based on height, in other words, bouncing above the head of the batter. But it also could have been a wide because it was down the leg side. Sliced away, it is going to go close to, in fact, down to deep third. That is Surya Selvakumar. So flurry of activity all of a sudden. You had what I thought was a good decision, at least based on the replays that we saw. I don't think that that hit anything, whether the glove or the bat. So not dismissed. Then the only question to be asked is if it was a wide, was it a wide based on height, or was it a wide based on the fact that it was down the leg side? That one replay that we saw, I think, indicates that it could have been either. So, flurry of activity, but still the big picture is, while the Lone Star Athletics are clicking through the gears and trying to make a run at this target, another 127 needed in 81 balls, they're still a fair distance away. Cut away. A lot of work for Rishabh Shimpi. He cannot get there. That is 4. If you want to see that replay again, I'm going to think that this ball is a little too wide, and Chaitanya Bishnoi is not going to miss out on that opportunity. Here we go. Definitely wide, and you see him there. Look at that shot by Chaitanya Bishnoi. To me, that's the best shot he's played all day. Intentionally opening the face of the bat to get that ball fine of the fielder backward point. And so that brings up the 50 partnership now. Excellent partnership underway. 59 for 1 is your score. 2 balls remaining. Played into the offside. Offside. Not sure what that was, but it was well fielded in the end, I guess. But it's a very, let's call it a fancy dot ball. Last ball coming up, and I think the lesson that you learn from this over, at least as it relates to Amshi De Silva, is that if you bowl full, you stand a better chance of getting a wicket than if you bowl short. Short and wide, and you can get in trouble. Well played, backward point. That's fumbled by Dilshan Munawira. They run through for a single. Another productive over here for the Lone Star Athletics. 13 runs coming from it. 60 for 1 after 7. Few highlights here from the power play. Look at Nitish Kumar essentially taking charge of this run chase, and I think putting himself and his team in the position of thinking that they can believe. Dilshan Munawira will look to change things around a little bit here. Dilshan Munawira playing here for the first time. The only stats that we have for him are his stats as a Sri Lankan, meaning playing for his country, Sri Lanka. 13 matches, T20s. He's taken 1 wicket in 13 matches, conceded 92 runs at an economy rate of 9.2. So that's not a whole lot to jump up and down about. However, those figures have come at the highest level, again, against Australia, against Bangladesh, and against Pakistan. Those are the 3 countries that he's played against internationally. You would think that at this level, he should be able to improve on those numbers. So a couple of singles here to start his day. First 3 balls of this over already have conceded 2 runs. Off the back foot, no run there. So he's going through the gears, just putting himself in the position to bowl economically, just wanting to make sure that you keep Chaitanya Bishnoi and Nitish Kumar quiet. That's going to be wide. Talked a number of times already about the fact that there's one side of the field that's bigger than the other. Right now, the big side of the field is to Chaitanya Bishnoi's leg side, in other words, to the left side of your screen as you look at the TV. Oh, reverse sweep, breaks that one out. It's not a bad option because there's one man in that area and you get that ball past him and it goes for 4, but he did manage to hit it well, but directly to that fielder at point, so no run for it. And they'll get 1 run down to mid-on, make that long on. Obaspinar, the fielder, in that position. Good over, 4 runs coming from it, pulling things back just a touch for his side. End of over number 8, the score is 64 for 1. Saw the bowlers or the batters earlier. Rishabh Shimpi and Obaspinar opened the bowling for the Kings 11 Dallas. Dilshan Munawira, that one over that you just saw, bowled by him, just conceding 4 runs. So it looks like we're going with some slow bowling now. And interestingly, this is Adam Khan. He's a leg spinner, bowling to Chaitanya Bishnoi, who's left-handed. So that ordinarily adds up to advantage batter. But in this instance, the bowling is coming from the side of the field that will have Chaitanya Bishnoi hitting to the big side. So we'll see what happens. Works this off the back foot, no run. Adam Khan, I don't know if I were him, I wouldn't just test the waters. Tossing one up straight at the stumps and seeing if Chaitanya Bishnoi takes the option of hitting to the big side. Oh, looks to sweep, and this comes flush off of his face, and now he's in trouble. Not wearing a helmet. You see a lot of batters do that when a spin bowler is on, but believe me, whether the ball is coming to you at 80 miles an hour or at 50 miles an hour, being hit in the face with a cricket ball is never a good feeling. So let's see what happens here. On the replay, oh, that is off his forehead. He would have felt that. And I really having a hard time today, Chaitanya Bishnoi. Saw the earlier injury, but this is a direct hit to the forehead. And the first thing you want to do is check for a potential concussion. Not wearing a helmet. And then the next thing you want to do is ask the question whether or not he is able to continue or if he wants to go off. In the meantime, let's look at a few highlights while we check on Mr. Chaitanya Bishnoi. This is the start of the innings. Had a quick start, but then several of the shots that came afterwards off of the bat of Nitish Kumar, and of those, that one there for me is the best of all of them. Chaitanya Bishnoi himself took a blow earlier on, but still coming on and doing what he needs to do to bring his team forward. But that live shot right there tells you that Chaitanya Bishnoi may, at least for the moment, have to retire. Don't know if he's retired hurt or retired out. That makes a distinction. If he's just retired hurt, then potentially he could come back later in the innings. Retired out means that you can't return. But as of right now, that does not look good. The fact that he still has his glove on, and as soon as I say that, he's taking it off. So that doesn't seem like a good sign to me. Again, just take a look and see what happens here. It looks to play the sweep shot, extra bounce, and that bangs off of his head, off of his forehead. You see there just the cap tilting upward, which means that the ball came off of his helmet, off of his forehead. He's not wearing a helmet, and then onto his head. Unfortunately, he's going to have to be retired. And again, the distinction to be made is whether or not he's retired out or just retired hurt. In the meantime, Adam Khan comes on, dismisses Chaitanya Bishnoi, but not in the way that he wanted to, I'm sure. So in the meantime, we'll have a new batter in, find out who this is as soon as possible, and we'll let you know. But it is now going to be a right-hander on strike. With the right-hander on strike facing up to the leg spinner, this feels like advantage to the bowler. So in the meantime, you have Nitish Kumar at the non-strikers end at 34 from 18. Big picture, you still need another 118 runs in the next 70 balls. And Adam Khan, been here for a while. Adam Khan certainly been at the bowling end for a while, and to the extent that there's not been any action for a pretty long time here, you want to make sure that you get everything going in the direction that you need for it to. New batter in is actually Jay Desai. Jay Desai is the wicket-keeper batter. And coming in at the, let's just say, the dismissal of Chaitanya Bishnoi. Dismissal for the moment. And we await clarification as to whether or not he is retired hurt or whether he's hurt but able to come back later on. And that obviously makes a difference. If he's retired out, then he's not able to return. If he is retired hurt, then he could potentially return at a later point in the innings. So we'll see what that update looks like, and as soon as we get that information, we'll certainly be able to let you know. In the meantime, Jay Desai and Nitish Kumar are the batters at the crease. Another look at this wicket, or at this injury. Goes to play the sweep shot. It ricochets off of his face. Again, he saw him take a pretty ugly injury earlier, and then this one probably more serious. The other injury was ugly but temporary. This one is a little bit more serious. And so our prayers are with Chaitanya Bishnoi. In the meantime, Jay Desai is ready, so is Adam Khan. Played off the back foot to backward point, no run. So let's call that effectively the fall of the second wicket. That was a big partnership. Oh, looks for the big swipe, not able to get anything on that. And that was a very big partnership. Partnership for the second wicket, assuming that he does not come back. Chaitanya Bishnoi was worth 58 runs. And now having to start over with Jay Desai being the new batter. Goes across the line, 3 straight dots. You still have another delivery remaining in this over, I believe. And Adam Khan doing what he needs to do to get his side moving in the direction of victory. A good leg spinner is almost always an asset to your side. And let's see what you can get done here with the last ball of over number 9. So several dots in a row here. That's down the ground. That's a clean hit. Obas Pinar is there. Oh, did he take that? A stunning catch in the deep. Obas Pinar with the catch of the year for me. One-handed, reaches up. He's a tall man. I've said that a number of times already. One-handed, left-handed. And look at this at the top of your screen now. Look at that. Insane. You've seen Obas Pinar take some catches over the years. None better than that. That is wicket number 3 effectively, I think. But either way, Jay Desai goes. Adam Khan has a wicket maiden from his first wicket, his first over. The score is 64 for 3. Take a look at this again. Absolutely insane. What great camera work at the same time. And he was actually, he had another yard or so to spare. Oh my goodness. Obas Pinar, take a bow. You have absolutely brought the house down. Adam Khan to the wicket maiden, and the score is 64 for 3. Boy, I have to look at this again. Look at Obas Pinar. Obas Pinar, probably anyone else on the field. The only other person on the field I think who can take that catch is probably Rishabh Shimpi. Similar height to Obas Pinar. And Obas Pinar took that catch so easily that it was almost as though you were not sure that he even had it. And of course, where we are here in the commentary booth, we're a couple of 100 yards away. So it's kind of hard to see exactly when he took that. But looking at that replay, he snatches it without as much of a fuss. About the most casual catch that you'll ever see. And that is wicket number 3. Again, effectively wicket number 3. We'll remain to see whether or not, or we await to see or get news on whether or not Chaitanya Bishnoi can return. But for the moment, let's say it's 64 for 3. Dilshan Munawara back into the attack. Get 1 run here. The new batter in is Kashyap Padrapati. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that one replayed a number of times. First, at minimum, it will be on the minor league Facebook and YouTube and Instagram channels for a while, and Twitter. But I would not be surprised if you see it on a bigger stage than that, because that catch in and of itself was stunning. And essentially it's, you know, the type of catch that can turn a match on its head. So you're into over number 10 here. Dilshan Munawara played down the ground. He had a wide and a single. Now another single down the ground. So, boy, I cannot get over that catch that you just saw from Obas Pinar. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. And there you just saw that ball running down the ground for 4. My apologies, I missed that live, but you've had 4 runs. So that changes the equation just a little bit. Had a couple of very tight overs. Take a look at the replay here. Oh, look at that. That is such an elegant piece of batting from Nitish Kumar. So again, apologies, I missed it live, but he just played that late cut to perfection and gets 4 runs. That's played now into the deep, the leg side. They'll just get 1 run. Nitish Kumar now moving up to 39, make that 40 from 21 balls faced. Kashyap Padrapati, 1 from 2, he's back on strike. Looking to work this around the leg side. They'll get a single. That is the last ball of over number 10. 8 runs, make that 9 runs coming from that over. You are halfway through. The score is 73. Make that 73 for 2. More to the point, though. Another 109 runs needed in the next 60 balls. It's a stiff ask. Required rate 10.9. Wait to see whether or not they'll take a water break. Don't know if they will, but in any event, you're halfway through. We will see whether or not this pair can put something together and make a chase at the target that is getting more and more out of control. So it doesn't look like there will be a water break. So go straight back to Adam Khan to bowl his second over. Wicket maiden from his first over. That very easily, with any other fielder, could have been 6 runs from that 1 over, but it ends up being a wicket maiden thanks to the brilliance of Obaspinar. The leg spinner goes past the outside edge. That's what a leg spinner can do. And you do have another leg spinner in the attack or in the lineup, that is Sahib Malhotra. You have another orthodox left arm spinner in Ali Sheikh. So several options if you want to find ways to take the ball away from the right-handed batters. Ali Sheikh did not bowl in yesterday's game. We are in over number 11, and he's not yet bowled in this game. So he's, of course, patrolling the outfield like you expect. I don't know whether or not he's injured. You would have expected to have seen him bowl at least 2 or 3 overs per match this weekend, but we'll see if there's a story there sometime. Oh, this is a good piece of cricket. Just drop it and run. Excellent work. You want to take advantage of any scoring opportunities that you can. Let's see what you can have here. Lofted down the ground. Look at that catch again. Obaspinar, go. Essentially, you can retire now. You're not going to do anything better than this on the cricket field, Obaspinar. That is absolutely stunning stuff from the tall all-rounder. Talked a lot about his batting and his bowling, but you cannot say enough about his fielding. And I personally saw Obaspinar in Houston, about 250 miles down Highway 45 from here, who was on the boundary at long off and took a hat-trick of catches. Literally a hat-trick. The bowler got a hat-trick. All 3 were catches to Obaspinar. The last was a more difficult one than this catch, that he had to jump over the rope and throw it back onto the field to complete that catch. So he's an absolutely stunning fielder, and it's not surprising that he can do what you saw him do just now. He makes it look very casual. He's very languid, very laconic, but he is the type of player who can turn a match on its head with the ball, with the bat, or in the field. 5 singles, close out over number 11. Score is 78 for 3. Well, I mentioned him a second ago, and here he is. Ali Sheikh, for the first time, will be bowling this weekend, left arm orthodox to the 2 right-handers. You can absolutely do worse than having a left arm orthodox bowler bowl to the 2 right-handers, turning the ball away from them. Ali Sheikh also has the arm ball, so you can have that ball going on with the arm, threatening the stumps of the pads. Struck down the ground here, Nitish Kumar. So you've had a couple of singles. Really, the last 7 deliveries have all gone for singles. So that's certainly working in your favor if you're looking for ways to limit the opposition. Conceding singles is about the best way of doing it, especially since with that dot ball, the required rate now is exactly 12. You need 102 runs in 51 balls. It does not get any easier. Played into the offside. Here's a single. So the tight bowling continues. Adam Khan's first over was a wicket maiden. That was wicket or over number 9. The 10th over went for 9 runs, but the 11th over went for 5. And so far in over number 12, you've only conceded. Oh, that was a 4. My apologies, I missed that live. You want to have get the opportunity to score runs as much as you can, and that is struck through the offside for 4. Nitish Kumar helping himself to 4 runs through the covers. Oh, almost cuts this one in that same direction again, but it's fielded. 7 runs come from Ali Sheikh's first over. You will forgive me if I say his name wrong multiple times, as I talked about that earlier. But anyway, just 7 runs coming from the over. The score after 12 is 85 for 3. Adam Khan back into the attack, bowling his 3rd over. Single down the ground. You're going to have to do it in more than singles at this stage. And you get the sense that this pair is going to have to accelerate. Oh, particularly up the pair. The man who is on strike right now, Nitish Kumar, 47 from 27. Feels like there's a lot on his shoulders, and you would think that he would be the one to grab the bull by the horns and push on and make inroads into this target or into this chase. Doing it for the most part right now in singles. The last 5 overs before this one only yielded 25 runs. So that's actually less than a run a ball. Still can't get it through the infield. So the runs have dried up. The leg spinners are doing their thing. Even though Ali Sheikh conceded a 4 in his first over, still only 7 runs coming from it. So all in all, you're going in the wrong direction if you're the Lone Star Athletics. That sweep shot taking the ball down to the boundary is not going to quite be good enough if you have fielders in that way or in that position, because what it means from here is that your required rate is now above 13. 3 balls remaining in over number 13. Appeal for LBW, not given. Immediately highlighting umpire Vishnu Pillai that I think this is an inside edge onto the pad, I believe. Not exactly sure what that motion was that he made. Maybe we can take a look at that again. But in any event, it's a dot ball, just 3 runs coming from the over. 13 runs or 13 overs up. The score is 88 for 3. Maybe right there, it appeared as though he was saying his vision was blocked. That's exactly what it is, I believe. Let's look and see what happens here. Very full. Oh, might just be going down leg, but I think more to umpire Vishnu Pillai's point, if Adam Khan is going to follow through after delivering and end up in front of the umpire, then no umpire is going to give that out. If you can't see it, you can't give it. To say nothing of the fact that you can't run on the danger end of the pitch. In other words, after you follow through, after you deliver, you need to be going off of the pitch instead of down the middle of it. So I think at least 2 reasons why that would have been given not out. Ali Sheikh back into the attack. Good stop at backward point. A couple of dots to start over number 14. And you're now running out of time. 94 runs needed from 40 balls. This is getting more and more difficult. And let's see exactly what you can get done here. Ali Sheikh tosses this one up, played down the ground. Doing it all in singles at this stage does not help you at all. And it's the stage of the innings where a couple of tight overs can really make that required rate shoot upward. Have 89 runs on the board. Still a long way to go. Oh, that's going to help. A lot of work in the deep. Excellent work in the deep. That is really well done by Sanchit Sandhu. And for me, that is 2 runs saved. Don't know how much of a difference those 2 runs will make, but at minimum, you've gotten yourself in the position where your bowler knows that you are supporting him in the field, which is always a good thing. 2 balls remaining here in over number 14. Obaspinar, you saw what he did earlier. This is regulation for him. And so now you're about the stage where you're running out of balls. Looks to power this away down the leg side, not able to get anything on it. Yet another good over. This one from Ali Sheikh, only conceding 4 runs. End of over number 14. The last 6 are coming up, 92 for 3. By the way, we never acknowledged it when it came up. Nitish Kumar with a 50 against his name, 51 from 31. And here's what we see. I think you've seen just a muted appeal or muted celebration there for Nitish Kumar. Just knows that he has a lot of work still to do. But 51 from 31, 6 4s and 2 6s. Adam Khan going through the gears and about to finish his spell. This is his last over. Down the ground, Nitish Kumar goes big, and not even Obaspinar can get this one. He needed to have been about 16'3" instead of 6'3" to get that one. And so that is 6 number 3 for Nitish Kumar. Adam Khan concedes his first 6 of the day. You have a wide and then a 6. This is starting in favor of the Lone Star Athletics. Nitish Kumar himself now moving up. Let's say he is in 5th gear. I would think that this is the stage, as you look at that replay again, just banged away into the deep. Pretty clean strike by Nitish Kumar. It's the stage of the innings where he'd want to take charge. Oh, that's an outside edge. Quick single taken. By the way, have talked about the fact that you have a bevy of left-arm bowlers. You've not yet seen Surya Selvakumar. And I always bring this up. When my own son used to play cricket, the very first ball that he faced in a live match was bowled by Surya Selvakumar. Obaspinar, you cannot get anything past him. You just can't. That is a big wicket. That is Nitish Kumar, who holds out in the deep. And if the one that he took earlier was spectacular, this one he can take in his sleep, Obaspinar. Absolutely straightforward. Short and pulled, but not getting it anywhere near the middle. And you'll never see a simpler catch taken in the deep than that one by Obaspinar. So he takes the second catch, 101. The scoreboard says 101 for 3, and let's keep it at 101 for 3. Effectively, it's 101 for 4 if Chaitanya Bishnoi cannot come back. And speaking of Chaitanya Bishnoi, I just had a question asked if there's any updates on Chaitanya Bishnoi. We'll see whether, let's go through these highlights real quick for Nitish Kumar. All these shots that he played, for these shots, this one here might be the best one for me. That one right there, through extra cover. And then that little late cut for me was also another brilliant shot. But back to the question that was just asked, is there An update on Chetene Bishnoi. As of right now, as you see Obaspinar in the deep, not quite able to get to it. But is there an update on Chetene Bishnoi? I do not yet have an update. I don't know if we can pan into the dugout area to see whether or not he is maybe icing, or maybe we might be able to see whether or not he even still has his pads on. Okay, this is a good look. Scanning over, do not yet see him. And I do not see Chetene Bishnoi. So that to me, ooh, right there. Is that him? Yes, it is him. He does have his pads on, and see he has a bandage on his face. But the fact for me that he has pads on would seem to imply that he is going to come back in at some point, maybe at the fall of the next wicket. So you don't like seeing him with a bandage on his face, but the fact that he still has his pads on is to me a good sign. And so maybe he's looking to come back in after the fall of the next wicket is what I would think. And with the last ball of his spell here, Adam Khan, he has done really well. 2 for 17, 3.5 overs. Both of his wickets are catches by Obaspinar. This one is into the deep. Rashab Shimpi in that area. 10 runs come from the over, but you'll exchange 10 runs for the wicket of Nitish Kumar all day, any day. End of over number 15. Last 5 coming up. The score is 102 for 3. Run through a couple of highlights here. The wickets taken, that's the first one, Sushant Madani. The next one, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this catch by Obaspinar. I laugh every time I see it. That's just unbelievable. And this next one is a pretty straightforward catch. Compare that to the first one that he took. He will not in any way be bothered by that type of catching opportunity. He takes those in his sleep. And so the batters are Kashyap Pajapati and Cameron Sheikh. Believe that you will see here, unless the pair can catch lightning in a bottle sometime soon, you're going to be essentially swimming upstream. Going back here, here is the other leg spinner we talked about. This is Saeed Malhotra. So Saeed Malhotra, leg spinner, the brother of Jaskaran Malhotra. Short delivery. That is pounced on. How far has it gone? It is in the gap and goes for 4 toward the big side of the field, but he placed it well in the gap. Saeed Malhotra will want to bowl, obviously, a lot fuller than that. You want the leg spinner to be bowling. You lose the advantage of being a leg spinner if you bowl that short, whether it's turning in or away. If you pitch it that short, then it's certainly something that can be scored off of. That's a better length. And it's played into the deep. Should just be 1. Yep, that's a single that they get down there. So, talking about bowling options, I've not yet seen Surya Selvakumar. I made the point earlier that when my own son used to play, the very first ball that he faced in the match was from Surya Selvakumar. But he's another left-handed option if you feel the need for one. But right now the spinners seem to be doing the work. Played down the ground. And that's just another single. Ali Sheikh in that area. Ali Sheikh bowled 2 overs, overs 12 and 14. Is now going to be up to Saeed Malhotra to continue. Short again. Somehow that short ball is missed out on. I tell you what though, I'd prefer for it to be fuller, but that's not a very bad option with deep square leg in position on the ropes on the big side of the field. So if that comes off the middle of the bat, it can go for 6, but if it's not exactly off the middle, it could potentially be a catching opportunity. But I don't know that you want, maybe you're trying to buy a wicket in that sense. I'd prefer just to see a ball in a good length turning away from the right-hander. But Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He's a professional cricketer. Let's see what he does here. 2 balls remaining in the over. In the air, that's going to run away down the hill. Rishabh Shimpi will not be able to find this one in time, and it goes away for 4. So already 10 runs from the first over here being bowled by Saeed Malhotra. And he'll want to close this one out in style. And my goodness, you do still have a lot of work to do, because the required rate is now back up to 16.8, almost to the stage where you need 3 runs off of every ball. The last ball coming up here in over number 16. Single down the ground, that closes out over number 16. Even though 11 runs score from the over, you still have conceded fewer runs than you need per over the rest of the way. End of over number 16, the score is 113 for 3. So the last 4 overs, last 4 overs coming up, it appears as though I'm the one making the bowling changes, because it's now Surya Selva Kumar with the ball in hand, who will be bowling from the theater end, the northern end of the ground. Surya Selva Kumar, left arm, quick. His brother Sachin Selva Kumar, to my understanding, does not play high-level cricket anymore. Both excellent young cricketers several years ago, but it appears as though Surya is the only one who's continued along that path. And both really just excellent, really good young men, both of them. In the meantime, he has a job to do here, which in theory should be pretty straightforward. Keep the opposition from scoring more than 17 runs and over. And you would like to think that he'd be able to do that. Bowling left arm around the wicket to Cameron Sheikh. Down the ground, Oba Spinar. Down now to the last 68 runs needed. But with 68 runs needed, you need them in 23 balls. Let's just say it's going to be difficult. In the meantime, let's see what you can get done here the rest of the way. This partnership needs to be built. Here's the left-hander. Oh, has pace that time. Pull shot is missed out on by Kashyap Padrapati. My apologies. So anyway, so back to live action on the field. Surya Selva Kumar, couple of deliveries into over number 17 rather, a single and a dot, and that you've seen how the left arm angle works for him. That is down the ground. That is a huge hit, and that goes for 6. And so the left arm angle generally works from around the wicket if you're able to move the ball away from the right-handed batters. For me, if it is a left armer and you are bowling around the wicket, if you're able to move it away, wonderful. If you're not able to move it away, to me it makes more sense to go over the wicket, to slant the ball across, because that essentially takes away the big hit to some degree. I'll say more about that in just a second. Now, what I mean by that is, that's going to be wide. Taking away the big hit, if you are a right-hander looking to hit big, you're likely looking to hit big on the leg side, which coincidentally on this in this instance, it's the short side of the field. However, from around the wicket from a left-hander, the ball is slanting in toward you. That helps you hit the ball away on the leg side. from over the wicket, you're slanting the ball across the right-handed batter, and that there's always a chance that you can find the outside edge. That is in the air, height, and oh my goodness, almost a fantastic catch there taken on the boundary, but it's another 6. And the easy comparison would be to the catch that Obaspinar took earlier. That is Sanchit Sandhu on the boundary, who had the opportunity to take a catch. Don't think he judged it as well as he would have thought. And here, yeah, you want to see him take that at the top of his leap, but ended up just palming it over the crossbar, if you will, to use a soccer expression. So another 6 in the over. Very full. That's the length that you want to see him bowl. Oh my goodness, the length is right. The line is too wide for the liking of umpire Vishnu Pillai. So yes, you've conceded a few runs here. A 6 and then a wide and then a 6 and then a wide again. So you want to make sure that that sequence is broken. Just looking to see if you can get that ball Yorker length on the stumps. That's a good length. Oh, he's gone. He got him. Oh, not only was it a good length, the big drive and the miss by Kasha Prajapati, and the outside edge snapped up by wicketkeeper Captain Unmuk Chand, and Surya Selvakumar has his first. So it's been an expensive over. 15 runs from the over so far, but look at this. Huge swipe, and that ball, extra bounce right there at the end. And look at Unmuk Chand taking it very casually, and no question from umpire Vishnu Pillai. In fact, Surya Selvakumar himself didn't even turn around to look at the umpire. It was that much of an obvious edge. So, wicket number 4 has been taken. Effectively, wicket 5, or is it? Who is the new batter coming in? We'll see who the new batter is. I don't think that it's Chaitanya Bishnoi. We'll see who this is. In fact, that looks like Aaron Nadkarni. Yep, Aaron Nadkarni. So if I am the Lone Star Athletics and I have Chaitanya Bishnoi, the athlete will always want to come back into the game. I don't think that there's anyone who would blame Chaitanya Bishnoi for still having his pads on. But I don't know at this stage that you don't just say, hey, we need 54 runs in 3 overs. Let's just pack up and go home after this. And make sure you take care of yourself. Played down the ground here. 16 runs come from the first over from Surya Selvakumar, but it's 16 runs and a wicket. That absolutely works in your favor. 129 for 4 after 17. Well, things continue to change in the Central Division. If you look at a current points table, we started the day with the Kings 11 Dallas being on top of the table. It is now the Chicago Kingsmen who are on top, a really strong side that won the championship last year. 3 wins and 1 loss. They've lost or had 2 matches rained out. They are at the top of the table. The Dallas Exploria Giants are number 2. So if the playoffs were to start today, it's the top 2 teams from each division that make it to the playoffs. So bear that in mind as you look at the table here, where if the playoffs were to start today, the Kings 11 Dallas would be on the outside looking in. So that tells you the importance of these games. Oh, second shot or second ball of over number 18, a huge swipe and a miss. You have Saib Malhotra, who conceded 11 runs from his first over, but so far in this over has only given up a couple of dots. And boy, I'm telling you that the current situation, almost gets to the point as you have another dot where you start thinking of the, let's call it the net run rate game, as opposed to whether or not you can win or lose this game. Because as of now, I don't know that there's a realistic way that you can generate the emphasis needed to win this game. Down the ground, is this catchable? No, it's not catchable. It's dead straight, and it goes for 4. It's a good strike from Aaron Nadkarni, and talked about this yesterday. His father is Sushil Nadkarni, who's one of the better batters in the history of U.S. cricket. Former captain, current administrator, and coach. But you'd want to channel your father here to get a few out of the middle of the bat, and maybe put yourself in the position where you can help your side at least make a charge toward the end. And if you're not going to win the match, and as of right now, 13 balls remaining, you're 48 runs adrift, so it's very unlikely that you win, but at least get close so you don't take a beating on net run rates. Gone! Simple as you like. Chip right back to the bowler. Cameron Sheikh is dismissed. A pretty straightforward cotton ball chance for Saeed Malhotra. That is wicket number 5. That is the end of over number 18. The score is 134 for 5. Look at this again. Just chipping it right back. Full toss. And it almost comes off the cue end of the bat. But what is absolutely certain is that that just goes right back to Saeed Malhotra himself. And that is wicket again, number 5. We'll watch the dugout area to see who the new batter is going to be. This does not look like Chaitanya Bishnoi, so we can pretty much, I think, assume that he effectively has been retired out. Rit Hinge is going to be the new batter. I don't know that it makes sense to even consider Chaitanya Bishnoi coming back into the lineup, at least coming back to the wicket. Not dismissed, but taking that big knock on the face, scanning the crowd or the dugout area. Don't see him. Earlier he was standing up. Don't see him at all now. My hope, frankly, is that he's back in the locker room and being attended to. I don't think it would make much sense to attempt to put him back out here. I don't know that you need 24 runs and over to win. Basically, 48 runs needed in 2 overs. You need a 4 off of every ball the rest of the way. And if that's not going to happen, then I think this is the right answer. This is in the air just over the top of, that is Saeed Malhotra himself. In fact, that's number 22. That would be, actually, that was, in fact, Saeed Malhotra. And the cover is not able to get to that one. You get a single to start, a double rather, to start over number 20, over 19. Surya Selva Kumar, left arm around the wicket. These two would have matched up in youth cricket several times over the last years. Surya Selva Kumar and Aaron Nadkarni. That's going to be a wide. And I think that you'll see that each of these bowlers knows their game very well, or each of these players rather knows their games very well. It's interesting, that delivery there from Surya Selva Kumar, and you can see why he's bowling around the wicket, because that ball is pitching and leaving the right-handed batter. Now, if you have the ability, and I said this earlier, if you have the ability to have the ball leave the right-hander from around the wicket, then that becomes a good option. But if it's not leaving the right-hander, then it's not as good an option. When Mukchan now keeping up to the stumps, that one is going running away down the hill. It may get to the boundary. In fact, it gets there now. So Surya Selva Kumar, and as I started saying, if we could, don't know if we have the ability to go back to look at the replay of that wide, but if we were to see that wide again, even though it was wide, it pitched and moved away from the right-handed batter. So that may be why Surya Selva Kumar is staying around the wicket, looking to cut the ball. In other words, bowl it like an off-spinner would. orthodox spinner, if you would, and have it leave the right-handed batter. That makes sense for bowling around the wicket. Down the ground, that's catchable. Surya Silva Kumar has his second. That is the end of Aaron Nadkarni. Pretty straightforward catch taken in the deep. Fifth, make that the sixth wicket is down, 141 for 6. Simple catch this one, well judged and taken. No issues whatsoever with that catch. And I think more to the point, you've essentially put yourself in the position now where it's about all over. As they say, it's all over but the shouting. Take another look at this catch again. Pretty simple catch. All day to judge that one and then take it, landing right in his lap. That's Amshi De Silva with the catch. And that is the end of the day for Aaron Nadkarni. Bowled decently, a little bit more expensive than he would have wanted to have been, but took a couple wickets and bowled a really good final over when he bowled early in the innings. And then with the bat, threw his bat around, didn't have much choice. But at this stage, I think it's just, a matter of what is the final margin of victory going to be as opposed to whether or not someone can win it. New batters, Imran Khan Jr. Sliced away. How far has this gone? It's going to be over the top of the fielder, running back from deep third or short third. Not able to pull it back. Goes away for 4. Good effort, but still 4 runs from the first ball bowled to Imran Khan Jr. You see the fielder running back and not quite able to do the work. Look at this. Excellent effort. Your team is about to win. Only 8 balls remaining, and you're still putting in that type of effort. That is excellent work in the field. Last ball coming up here. Actually, 2 balls remaining in this over from Surya Silva Kumar. Down the ground. Nice sound, but directly to Ali Sheikh. So you're down to the last 7 balls of the match. The last 7 balls maximum, if you will. 36 runs adrift are the Lone Star Athletics. So this may end up being a lot closer on the scoreboard than it effectively has been, because this game has seemed for a long time to have only been going in the direction where only one team can win it. Last 6 coming up. The small matter of 6 sixes needed for victory. 146 for 6 is your score. Take a quick look at these wickets. The wickets that fell. Sushant Madani was the first to go. Good catch in the deep. Then you saw here Obas Pinar with the most spectacular of catches. Probably you won't see another catch better than that all year. This one played down the ground. This is the big wicket of Nitish Kumar. Then Surya Silva Kumar finding the big edge there. Pretty straightforward cotton ball chance for Saeed Malhotra. And then that last wicket that you saw, lofted down the ground, and a pretty simple catch by Amshi De Silva. So that's essentially what you've gotten so far. Down to the last over now, and the last over to be bowled by Rishabh Shimpi. It's bowled 2 overs, none for 11. And the last over coming up here, bowling to Imran Khan Jr. Worked around the corner, a couple of runs here at least. Throw coming into the keeper, Zainul Mukhchand. Wants that fielder to come in with a little bit more aggression. But again, once you have the first ball of the inning of the over not go for 6, that becomes the end of the match. Only one team will win it from here. Of course, unless you have extras in the form of wides or no balls. Last 4 balls coming up after the single from that ball, of the second ball of the innings, of the over. Going now, Rishabh Shimpi around the wicket, left-hander. Short delivery, top edge, goes over the top. Fine leg is very square, it goes away for 4. Well, Rishabh Shimpi certainly has the pace. I don't know whether or not these deliveries are what you'd be looking for at the death. Maybe if you wanted to think of this as let's think of it as a mock close game, then you'd want him to be bowling full and straight. And again, he's a very young man, 17 years old. Maybe you tell yourself, all right, let's just go and treat this like you're down or like you're ahead, like the score to be gotten is like 10. And how would you bowl under those circumstances? And no, it doesn't hurt you if you come up and bowl a bouncer and get pulled for 4 when the opposition needs another 28 from 2 balls. That doesn't hurt you. But you might want to think, put him in the situation where here's the mentality I want from you. I want you to treat this like you have 10 runs to defend. And maybe that can be something that can be addressed later on. In the event of, you're looking to help develop a youngster, that might be one way of doing it. This would be, I believe, a leg by. I'll get 1 run, and they'll settle for that 1 run. There's a leg by signaled by umpire Kartik Nachimutu. So the last ball of the match coming up here. I believe, oh, my apologies, I missed the no ball. There was a no ball in there, so my apologies. I missed when that was signaled. So let's just say that there's 2 more balls remaining. Reverse sweep being attempted, nothing happening there. Oh, what happened? Did he bowl him? Yes, he did bowl him. That is the end of Rithinge. 5 from 4. He is dismissed. Look at the replay here from around the wicket. Boy, the reverse sweep is what you go for. But it's easier to reverse sweep a spinner than it is to reverse sweep a bowler of the pace of Rishabh Shimpi. So you're down now to the last ball. Rishabh Shimpi gets his first. And the new batter coming to the wicket is Captain Sidesh Patare. He'll be there for 1 ball, because this is going to be a pretty straightforward victory for the Kings 11 Dallas. And it will be interesting to see what happens to the top of the table after this ball, because it will be an official victory at that point. And maybe we'll check that on our way out the door. Last ball of the match. A dot ball to close things out. A pretty convincing victory for the Kings 11 Dallas, winning it by 25 runs. Rishabh Shimpi is the one who bowls the last over. Looks really good doing it, even though it conceded a 4. So the full scorecard will tell the story that you're looking for here. The batters needed to have a quick start, but did not quite get there. Chaitanya Bishnoi, we hope he's going to be fine. 25 from 28. Sushant Badani only scored 2. Nitish Kumar top scoring 58 from 34. Jay Desai without troubling the scorers. Kashya Padrapati 24 from 23. Cameron Sheikh and Aaron Nadkarni 12 from 9 each. Rit Hinge 5. Imran Khan Jr. not out 8. And Sidesh Patare only faced 1 delivery. The bowlers, I think, did what they needed to do without being spectacular. We'll see that bowling card here shortly. Looking at each of them, only bowler who was expensive was Sanchit Sandhu. 2 overs, none for 23. 2 wickets each for Surya Selva Kumar, Adam Khan, and then 1 wicket each for Sai Malhotra, Rishabh Shimpi, and Obaspinar. The story for Obaspinar is the catch that he took to dismiss one of the middle order batters. Looking at the highlights real quick, we'll go back through each of the efforts that you saw. Wanted a big start from Sushant Madani, but not quite getting it there, holding out into extra cover. Then Nitish Kumar played a number of lovely shots along with Chaitanya Bishnoi. Look at that shot by Nitish Kumar. And I've said it a couple of times already. The one shot, that one is the one I like the best from him. And then Nitish Kumar going big a couple of times, and then Chaitanya Bishnoi staying with him. But this, for me, changes the entire game. Obaspinar with a spectacular one-handed, left-handed catch. to take the wicket of Nitish Kumar. And down the ground, Adam Khan did what he needed to do. Another simple catch here for Obaspinar. Then a few flurry of runs, some 4s and 6s, but ultimately didn't have enough runs to play with. Big edge there, and Surya Selva Kumar with the wicket. This a caught and bowl chance for Sai Malhotra. And then you have a 4 off of fortuitous edge down the ground. But ultimately, it comes to the catch there at the end. Now, here's what we want to see. And we'll see this at the very end here as the last over being bowled by Rishabh Shimpi. Getting the wicket there of Rit Hingu, trying to reverse sweep him. Here is what we're looking at. Look at the points table. After this victory, look who is on top. Kings 11 Dallas, now with 8 points, 3 victories and 2 no results. So they have 8 points, along with the Chicago Kingsmen. Kings 11 Dallas being the top side by virtue of a better net run rate. Exforia Giants at 3, Metroplex Tracers at 4. And then the bottom of the table would be the Tigers, the Lone Star Athletics, Michigan Cricket Stars, and St. Louis Americans. So if the playoffs end today, the 2 representatives from the Central Division are the Kings 11 Dallas and the Chicago Kingsmen. But as far as this match is concerned, the Kings 11 Dallas taking victory by the margin of 25 runs. Remandar and Obaspinar are your luminaries in that effort. My sense is, if you ask me to vote for a player of the match, nobody cares what I think, but if you ask me, it would be Obaspinar for the wickets taken, the catches, and the 45 from 25. But join us for more cricket later on this week, meaning Friday. This time the action switches to Prairie View, Texas, about 260 miles south of here. Some more Central Division action in minor league cricket 2025. Brian Walters with you. I've been happy to be here for the last several days. See you next weekend. Good night and good luck.